What's going on, Blue Chips? Welcome. It's Friday night here on what is today? The one day before leap year. It's leap year. So tomorrow we get an extra day of February. How about we just get to it? All right, so the first thing I want to do tonight is give us a little peek into the weekend. See what we got for Saturday and Sunday. Be who you want to be, not what others want you to be. It's pretty powerful. And it's actually, now that I just read it, it's something that kind of resonates with me a little bit, especially after, I think it was yesterday. Wait, 10 likes before the stream starts? What? I only see 2. What you talking about, Willis? What's up, Zishan? But somebody had made a comment on, I'm pretty sure it was yesterday, on my trade from yesterday, and they said, why are you only trading 2 shares? Which we're actually going to get into a little bit today about upping our share size. But I was a little confused because in the grand scheme of things, that person did not ask me the correct question. The correct question there would have been, Tim, where are you at in your journey? What are you doing right now that's making you trade only 2 shares as an entry? The other couple things that could have been of interest was the price of the stock, the range of the stock. There was lots of different factors that could go into it. What if I was trading something that was moving 10 points at a time? Well, guess what? Only 2 shares moving 10 points, that's $20, right? So there's a lot of things that people don't really take into account before kind of asking a question like that. And it kind of threw me off guard because I wanted to basically say, if you followed the channel, you would kind of know what's going on type thing. But it's, I always try to be politically correct and give the person the benefit of the doubt. Maybe they're new, something of that nature. So anyways, it was a good saying because it made me remind myself that this is my journey. I'm here to, I'm not going to force myself out of my comfort zone just to appease other people. I'm going to go at my pace. I'm going to go and try to figure this out on my, not on my own per se, but I'm going to figure it out the way that I want to figure it out. David, what's going on, man? I'm glad you could stop by. Z-Lisk, what's up? Thomas, how you doing, man? Kevin says, I'm pretty glad you only trade 2 shares. I'm drowning in losses, and your example of self-discipline is helping me change that. See? There we go. And that's kind of the whole point of me posting these videos, is so that I can show you guys my journey. Hopefully, if you are more new than I am, you can take what I am doing and hopefully apply it to your trading, and hopefully not get the MTSIs, not get the LYVs, the OCXs. There's just been a few trades that I just bombed, right? And we can get into those in a little bit as well. Thank you, Thomas. Appreciate that. I'll have you know I just left my favorite gamer girl to come here. Wait a minute. Coco, that's the name. Number 1 gamer girl. Wait, who is your gamer girl? Michael, what's going on, man? How you doing, man? So the first thing I wanted to tell you guys as I drink some balls is that if you guys stick around and we can get up to 35 people all at once, we have 35 people in the stream at once, I'm going to be giving away 2 of these bad boys. So you have to live in the United States. That is kind of one requirement, but that's it. All you got to do is live in the United States. You have to be here and be part of the drawing and win the drawing. So hopefully we get there. If not, then we'll go to next week and we'll see if we can get it done. Just wanted to take a quick look at the SPY, and then we'll go over to my trades for the week, and we'll take a look at the charts, and we'll go from there. And that's the other thing too. When I get to these charts, especially that chart that I only took 2 shares as a starter position, I almost made a whole point on that trade. So in the future, when that trade might be 200 shares instead of 2 shares, hey now, right? That's what we're talking about. So that, that person can, say what they want, but hey, I'm not gonna judge. No love for the Canadians. I'm trying not to speak too loud because my sons are sleeping. But let me see if I can. Let me up the gain a little bit here. Properties, filters. There we go. I just doubled my gain. Let me know if that helps out a little bit. I'm not sure. I think it would cost a little bit more to ship to Canada. I don't know. Loud. Oh, jeez. Kevin, do you have the YouTube sound down? I know some people kind of forget that. Oh, well, David said it's better too, so. Share the stream. I want some balls. Okay. That's a good. I didn't even honestly think about ever mentioning that you could share the stream, but yeah, go ahead and share it. That would probably help out. Let me capitalize this S too. I just realized that it was a lowercase s. It's kind of weird. So just taking a look at the SPY, I've actually had a bunch of DMs and stuff like that, like just from family and friends, like what's going on in the market. Everyone kind of comes to me as like some market wizard now within the family. And to be completely honest, I had no intentions. This was completely my mom. I'm pretty sure my mom kind of leaked out that, this is what I'm doing. And if you're here, Mom, hi, love you. But somehow, and I think Instagram had a little bit to do with it for some reason. I didn't even follow with like my regular Instagram account, but somehow my family started liking it. I have no idea how they became linked together, but somehow they did. But anyways, my mom actually just put an offer in on a house today, and I pretty much tried to tell her, no, like don't do it. And the reasoning behind that is I was trying to give her an example. When oil prices fluctuate, what does gas prices do, right? They fluctuate almost instantly, like day of, next day, whatever it may be. You see the gas prices fluctuate because the oil prices go up or down, right? The gas prices will go up and down with it. The housing market, especially if we go back, let's actually pull up the SPY on the bigger chart here on the daily. Let's scroll back. It should let me keep going here. There we go. All right. So in 2007, 2008, we went from around like 150 down to, what did we actually get down to? Like 75. So about a 50% correction, right? Look at what happened to the housing market then, right? So we are currently sitting right around 296. I think we're sitting at about like a 14% loss right now, or downswing, I guess you could say. But it was pretty abrupt. Now, no, I'm not getting into renting versus owning and all that stuff. That actually has a lot to do with your individual goals and stuff like that. But what I'm getting at is back here in 2008, the housing market pretty much crashed. And it was for a lot of other reasons, not just because the market crashed and all that good stuff, but the market kind of crashed because of some of the bad practices that were being taken place from banks, and neither here nor there. You can go watch a couple movies on this. There's I think one's like The Big Short. There's a couple of really good movies that talk about this stuff. But what I'm getting at is the house that she's looking at was a flip, and it was completely remodeled, and it was built and remodeled pretty much all within this time as the market was just booming, right? So when they went to list this house, which was like a week and a half ago, the market was at all-time highs and just pressing on and pressing on. So everything is just booming right now. Housing is ridiculous. All this stuff is ridiculous. Well, just in the last 3 days, if we scroll in here, if it lets me, why is it not letting me? Are you seriously going to make me sit here and mouse scroll? Why did it not? Okay, this is a little frustrating. Give me a sec. So just in these last 3 days, or just this week in general, look at what the market did. We went all the way from all-time highs back to where we were 7 months ago, like around almost a year ago, right? If you look at where we were at the beginning of March, we were at 279, like 281 was the high, right? We're right there. And I had actually drew this line because one of my buddies that actually has some investments in the spider, he said, "Hey man, we were doing so good there. What happened? When should I sell?" And I was like, "Well, I can't tell you when to sell, obviously, but I drew this line. And if we scroll back quite a bit, you can kind of see this line lines up a lot. Like not right here at the start, but then you got uses resistance, support, uses resistance 3 separate times, uses resistance, went through, and then it came down, kind of got uses support there, went back through, support. And I should have told him, I was like, if it were my shares, if we get under that 282 area, I would start to panic just a little bit. Just, thinking that we might free fall a little bit, or at least go down to the next support level, which isn't really down here until like 260. And when the day started today, because I had told him this yesterday, I wasn't even following this thing. And when I pulled it up and I saw that this thing gapped down and practically went under it was like 285 something. Yeah, 285.75, 285.54 was the low. I was stunned. I was like, holy crap, this thing's going right to that 282 level. And so, yeah, but thankfully it kept trying to get bought up and it started to gap up here in the after hours. So who knows? But anyways, back to what I was talking about real quick. I was basically trying to talk her out of putting an offer in on this house. And the reasoning was because of this, right? The last few days, if you look at the daily, this thing just got absolutely crushed. So what's going to happen to the housing market, right? People were listing houses as the economy was at all-time highs. This buy was at all-time highs. We're just trucking away, extending ourselves. And then this hits, right? Well, there's no reason that you should be paying top dollar for something now, the market's all the way down here. They listed that house saying, hey, the economy is great right now. You have the money to spend. Well, guess what? Now you don't really have as much money to spend, right? What if you were going to cash out some of your retirement? Like if you want to really put it into perspective, like what if you were going to use some of your retirement money to put a down payment on the house? Well, guess what? All of that money that you were going to use for a down payment could be gone right now. Like if you were invested into the market with a decent amount of like your proportion set towards stocks or allocated towards stocks, you are down quite a bit, right? That's some good advice is to not look at your retirement portfolio right now if you have one, because it just took a hit. But the problem is with that too, is again, we were at these levels about 7 months ago, right? So what these people are doing are P&L trading, right? If you really want to break it down, it breaks down to the fact that on this ride up, the whole way up, once it like broke these key levels here over 300, they're just watching it. They're just watching their retirement go up and up and up, and they're just watching it. And they're just watching it like a hawk. And then all of a sudden out of nowhere, boom, comes crashing down. They act like their life is over, right? They're like, where'd all my money go? Well, guess what? 7 months ago, you were happy with the amount of money that was in there, and that's how much money you have again, right? So you can't look at it that way, right? I mean, granted, like I said, if we kind of fall below these key levels, which people, normal everyday people have no idea what to look for in that aspect. But if we start to fall below those key levels, it could get a little iffy. And the way that I was doing some coronavirus research, and it's starting to become more and more, like people are finding more and more cases of it in the United States. Obviously, this thing spreads pretty easily. It's not as lethal as a lot of people think it is, but it is going to spread. It's going to spread more than it already has. It obviously easily spreads. They obviously haven't come up with some cure for anyone that has it yet. So I really think that we're going to struggle as more and more cases are found in the United States, and it's just going to, I think, affect the market. Like I don't think that we're down, are done with this downswing just yet. That's what I personally think. Obviously, I am not a professional, blah, blah, blah. This is for entertainment purposes only, blah, 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 blah. But yes, coronavirus did start this, and I don't think it's quite done yet. And again, remember, every time that we've had a correction, if you really do the math, it's been pretty close to like a 50% correction, like for anywhere between like 25 to 50%, like on real corrections, like the big ones. So let me see if I scroll out again real quick. So like right back here when we had this correction, we went from 300 all the way down. So 150 technically would have been a 50% correction, but this was a pretty big one. This is when everyone thought the world was catching on fire. I don't even remember what this was for. It was just, I remember it happening. I don't remember what it was for though. But anyways, that was the SPY. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, again, this is why I don't hold things overnight, because you never know when something's going to go crazy and make some crazy moves down. Constantine, what's going on, man? How you doing? Hope your weekend is starting off good, since it's already the weekend for you. Won't this correction affect things like the ability of businesses to qualify for financing, etc.? Yes, that's kind of what I'm getting at. I don't think the overall effects of the coronavirus, not even from a health standard or like from a health perspective, are done, because if it starts spreading in certain areas of the country, obviously people are going to start to not leave their houses, and they're not going to spend money. I mean, granted, that could be completely false, because some people staying in their houses for too long might actually make them spend more money online, right? Because shopping online seems to be more the norm anyways now as it is. So can coronavirus cause a recession? I think it kind of already is. In some parts of the world, it already has. I mean, you've seen some of the videos where there's towns and like cities and towns where they're just empty. The streets are just empty, and they're there like fumigating everything, and no one's even coming out of their houses at this point. They've evacuated places. Yeah, it's pretty crazy at this point. I'm telling you, Warren Buffett was positively giddy in that interview he gave this week. Well, it's how many, again, Warren Buffett is absolutely known for doing what? He buys when people are scared, and he sells when people are euphoric, right? I tell you this all the time. It's like one of the main slogans that I preach here on the channel is sell euphoria, or buy fear, sell euphoria. It's that simple. I actually found, let me see if I can find it real quick. It was a meme on Reddit, and it was Warren Buffett. I'm not going to show it, but because it was a little vulgar. But basically, it was him saying "buy the dip," and then he had like the person obviously put some words in there that didn't need to be in there. But he was basically just saying "buy the dip," you scared little, you can insert your own words there. So that's why he's giddy, because he can throw tons of, once he feels like this big panic dip is done. And that's why I said if I had extra money, I would be interested in getting in, but not yet. Like I said, I still think this has some room to the downside. And if it doesn't, then power to the SPY for holding through this. But I really think that we might not quite be done yet. I tried. Tweeted what? Oh, to share it? I appreciate that, Mike. I don't know if that was actually a thing. Some more people usually tend to come in here as we get closer to like 11:30 Eastern. I think more of the West Coast guys start to get home or do whatever. You what? Buy when there's blood in the streets. It's very true. Yep. Panic selling is often a good spot. That's why, I mean, it's no different than when you see me trade. Actually, let's pull up some charts here. Let's go full screen here for a second.
These nuts.
Oh God.
Got him.
That just scared the crap out of me. And I knew it was Tom. I was like, wait a minute, it didn't pop up right away. Sorry, I was answering a question on Discord right there. So let's just do from when we started getting back to our roots here with the new strategy, which was just Tuesday of this week. Come on. So February 25th to today. So we took 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 trades. We won 8 of them, giving us a win percentage of 88%. And I'm going to show you guys something pretty important real quick. I'm going to pull up the calculator. We're going to do a little bit of math. So if we take the gross return, so 188 plus 290 plus 450 plus 240 plus 270 plus 4 plus 225 plus 470, we get 2533, and our one loss was for 885. So if you take these two numbers, so 2533, and divide it by 885, this is what's called your profit factor. So on this week, yes, I only made $16 gross, right? This is obviously before commissions, all that good stuff. I basically broke even after commissions, whatever, right? If you guys want to look at it that way, feel free, but that's not what we're here to do, especially when we take a look at the charts. So our profit factor, even though we were trading super small size, was 2.86. That's pretty good, right? And for any of you that don't know what profit factor is, we can go over it, but I'm not going to go over it right this second. But basically, I mean, here, we'll just Google it so I can give you like the actual like definition that it has here. So the profit factor is defined as the gross profit divided by the gross loss, including commissions, which that's not entirely true, for the entire trading period. This performance metric relates the amount of profit per unit of risk with values greater than 1, indicating a profitable system. So let's see what this picture is, just out of curiosity. So it's going to take us a bunch of pictures. So basically what I'm getting at is somebody with what it breaks down to is you could have a 95% win rate, but if your profit factor is only like 1.05, that doesn't mean anything, because what that means is you might be winning 95% of the time, but that one loss every once in a while that you take is so big that it's annihilating your profits, right? I used to have a huge problem with this when I first started the 112 system. And just to show you, let's go what I'm talking about here. For anybody that's new and has never seen this, February 8th of last year is when I started trading the new system. Ah, dang it. I clicked twice. So let's take a look at what happened when I made my mistakes. Now, keep in mind, these are my mistakes, not the mistakes of the system. And that's what I'm starting to figure out. When I first started trading like this, started off a little rough, but then I figured it out, right? We started making some money. And then I ran into the stock MTSI. And I became a deer in headlights, and I ended up taking a pretty big hit on this, like a huge hit. I was just like over $1,000. Kind of stumbled around. We actually took a month off to try to figure out how to not let this happen again, and we did a pretty good job. And we became a little stagnant in this area, and then all of a sudden we started, figuring it out again. We just kind of went through a little dead zone. The market wasn't really aligning with our strat, and we started getting a little confident. And then we ran into LYV, and again, it was not the strat's fault. It was me. I just completely bombed a trade, and I was a deer in headlights. I became emotional, and this is what happened. So now imagine if these two trades never happened, right? If those two trades never happened, this P&L, if it would have even if it would have came down to like here, and then this started, like we'd be way up here. And then if this never happened, we'd be like way up here, right? And we wouldn't be making this little decline, because after LYV, I went into an emotional state where I was like, man, I told myself I was never going to let this happen again. I did it again. And then pretty much from the time LYV happened until about this Tuesday that just happened, I was trying to figure out a way to make safe trades, to not let this happen again. And I just slowly kind of declined. I couldn't figure anything out. Like, I was trying to change my strategy. I was trying to figure out safer ways to do strategies. Like, I was in a funk, right? I was blaming the strategy instead of blaming myself. And then at some point, through the help of David, Team ISW, just everybody, I started to realize, hey, what was wrong with this strategy? Nothing was wrong with this. It was making me money hand over fist. Like every time I went on these streaks, I was making money. But what happened? I happened, right? I happened twice. And then I let it get to my head this time. Like I let it really get to my head this time. Instead of this time where I said, hey, I'm going to fix it, right? I know this makes money. I'm just going to fix why I let this cliff happen. And I did, right? But then it happened again. And then this time it really threw me for a loop. And now we're finally coming back to it. But now we're going to really master it, right? So we know the strat works. It works over months. Like this is a pretty long timeline. So we know that the strat works. It's just a matter of getting to the point where we can not let those big trades happen or like those big losses happen. That's what it comes down to. You're building a data set looking good. It shows how much more money you make versus lose. That's basically what it is. That is what profit factor is. the dumbed down version. Like scoring with a lot of ugly girls. So can you share your trading system? Yeah, I can get into it. It's not that big. It's not that hard, believe it or not. Vincenzo is emotional help. I wouldn't really say he's helpful in the trading system itself, but he definitely is there as emotional support, and I appreciate Vincenzo very much. I'm finding that much if what I learned, like expectations for what stocks do at certain levels, has been failing regularly. Well, that's why anybody that plays support and resistance, I tell them to go into it with a 50-50 mindset. You're going to lose a lot of trades if you're looking to play off key levels, because a lot of times market makers, big banks, big players in the game, they don't care about your levels. And believe it or not, they're actually going to go out of their way to push to get to those levels so that they take your liquidity as a stop. Like they know people have stop losses in certain areas and they stop hunt, right? They're going to push the price to that specific area, steal all that liquidity, and then ride the price back up the other way. I'm not saying support and resistance is a bad way to trade. I'm just saying that you have to be able to emotionally accept all the losses that you will take. That's what it really comes down to. A good profit factor, I would say it really depends on your win-loss percentage, but anything over 1 is good, right? It means you're making more money than you're losing. But obviously, the higher, the better. But from my experience, looking at other traders do it, I know like Jared from Live Traders, he's like around like a 1.51, I think it is, or just like around 1.5. But I would say anything over 3, you're starting to get into the very good. And then anything like over 5, you're just killing it. It means you're making 5 times as much money as you're losing, right? So that's all it is, right? You're just dividing the amount that you make versus the amount that you lose. So if it's 2, then you're making 2 times the amount that you're losing. If it's 3, you're making 3 times it. So hopefully that kind of makes it a little bit easier. We're almost halfway to the giveaway, guys. If we get the 35 concurrent viewers, we're going to be doing a giveaway for 2 of these amazing balls. Look at this. I got them right there. Balls Guarana. Still trying. I need to reach out to them again. You guys should also like tweet them and be like, yo, you guys should, I heard Volatility Trading, Tim over at Volatility Trading has reached out to you guys. You should sponsor his stuff. I heard he's trying to get in contact with you. When you reverse position, I don't know why I'm having such trouble talking today. When you reverse position while trading, does the trading fee adds up? Yes, obviously. But it's part of trading. You got to pay to play. You want to make money, you got to spend money, right? That's just kind of how it works. And again, it's all relative. If for me right now, or for you, if you're trading smaller share size, yes, it's going to suck because the commissions are about what you're making per trade, per se. But at the same time, imagine the growth that if you can finally get to the point where you're starting to size up a little bit and you're growing your account, what that's going to do, right? If this was 100 shares instead of 10, this is $47. And then the commissions don't seem so bad, right? What if this was 1,000 shares? Then this is $470. And then guess what? The commissions don't mean jack to you anymore, right? So you have to think long, right? You have to think, I need to stay afloat now. I need to hammer down my strategy. I need to know that I'm confident in my strategy, etc. Right? So that's the key. Consistency is the key. That's what we need to hammer down first. I'm here. I don't want any balls, though. How can you not want any balls to put in your mouth? Come on, man. I don't know what I'd do without any balls in my mouth. I have to look closer at profit factor. I'm not sure it's not a red herring. Expectancy is what I always am concerned with. I need to analyze the difference. I mean, it kind of is an expectancy, right? It's statistics. Profit factor is a statistic, so it's not really sure how it could be a red herring. But anyways, so our fresh trade of getting back to our roots here, mRNA, which is proof I had shorts on this thing early in the week. We ended up getting in, pretty much top tick this thing. I mean, let's look at the entry. It was at 22.56 and we exited at 22.09. Our return on it was 47 cents a share. So again, guys, someone might be asking, you're only trading with 10 shares. Well, guess what? I made 47 cents per share on this trade, right? Again, imagine if we're scaled up, right? Which we're actually going to get to that right after we go over these charts. So the point is, I'm looking to get these charts. And the other thing too, if I have 100 shares and I get these moves, I can start scaling out of my moves. I don't feel comfortable scaling out with such small share size. It just doesn't make sense, right? This is something that doesn't make sense because the commissions will just absolutely eat you alive. If I had 100 shares and I took half, I'd still have 50 shares to ride this down and possibly look for a bigger move. And I can actually make some decent money off of 50 shares. But if I have 10 shares and I take half off and I have 5 shares to ride down, yeah, I could have got another $5. But again, are you willing to risk that looking to get just an extra like $5 for a whole extra point? And you really have to wait that out. So I am at a point right now where it doesn't make sense, but in the future, scaling out even on a single entry is something that we'll be looking to do. So that was mRNA. Oh, we went the wrong way. Next trade was on OKE. So on OKE, we entered this thing at 78 and we exited at 77.50. So that was a 45-cent trade and kind of the same thing. I do remember this one. We tried to get an ad if it wanted to pop up through 78.50. Didn't quite get there and it ended up coming down, kind of testing VWAP area a little bit. And that was that, 45 cents. So again, just imagine if this was not 5 shares and even 50 shares, right? Now it's 22. And imagine it's 500 shares. Now it's $220, right? Always, always, always remember, it's all relative, guys. Don't let anyone tell you that you're trading too small a share size. You have to start somewhere, right? You have to start somewhere. WBT was our next trade. Another single entry trade here. We started it at 14.85 and we got out at 14.45. So 40 cents on this trade. Pretty much top tick this one. Didn't get that pop through 15 like we were probably looking for. Rode this thing down to VWAP and we ended up exiting our position right there around the 14.50 break. And again, if we could have scaled out in the future, we could have made even more money, right? David says expectancy is good, but it doesn't take into account how many trades you take in a day. You can have a low expectancy, but take a lot of trades making up for it. That is a very valid point. Very valid point. I actually didn't think about that. I knew there was something in there that I wanted to say about expectancy, but I don't even think that was it, but that is a very good point. All right, so the next one was on PUMP. We got in at 10.77 and we got out at 10.50, so 27 cents on this one. And I mean, guys, you see what these charts are looking like. All of these are right off of the scanners. Eventually, people are going to be begging me to figure out how I trade like this, right? When I'm actually showing real numbers and, it'll be a thing of the past. Like it'll just be progress, right? You guys are in at the ground level per se. You're seeing me go through the progression. You're seeing a real trader go through the real journey of becoming hopefully a successful trader. This, it's not all about YouTube and flashing the big numbers and trying to sell you courses and chat rooms and stuff like that. Like I'm here just documenting my journey and hopefully along the way teaching other people something from my journey to help their journey, right? That's what this is all about. But you are going to start to see I'm getting pretty good at trading these charts. And I, believe it or not, I'm more excited sometimes about my losers more recently than I am about my winners, which we'll get to when we get to the loser. So Arlo here, I'm not exactly sure if I played Arlo correctly here because we only ended up getting 8 cents per share. This was a 2 entry trade. We entered it at 438, got to add at 450, but then we only got our shares out at 436. So if we want to do the math, which I don't know if I can, so I guess we could see what high of day was. Let's see. 454, 458, 459, 466. All right, so 466 was the high. And let's go up here to this and we'll pull the calculator out real quick. So 466 was the high, 450 plus 438 divided by 2, 444. So 466, so it would be 22 cents. So we should have been looking to get minus 22. Our take profit should have been at 422, right? Or at least tried to get down there. And if we take a look at the chart, it eventually got down there without ever going high of day again, right? So we would have hit our profit target if we would have gave this thing some time. But, I kind of was reading the tape, and if you can see that I read it pretty well. It came down, and you could just kind of feel it stalling, like it wanted to pop up and try that 450 area again, and I wasn't wrong. And who knows? This thing might have went high of day again. You don't know. It's actually what happened to us today on OMI. But if you're willing to accept the risk and you're looking to get, and again, too, with bigger share size, I wouldn't be afraid to take most of my position here and then try to ride out the rest. And every trade is going to be different, obviously, but you're still looking to always get what you're risking, right? You should never really want to be in a trade where you're willing to risk more than you're willing to try to make, right? Taking profit is just as important as having set risk. And I was actually talking to David about that earlier, and it's so important, right? If you are willing to let a trade go against you $100, then you better be willing to try to let a stock go in your favor $100. You can't say, holy crap, I got down $100. I'll just be happy to get back to break even on this thing. Well, yes, that could be the case if it's having a hard time breaking back down. But if your goal was, a 1-to-1 risk reward ratio and you let that thing get up to where it was against you $100, you better be willing to try to let that thing go down and make you $100, right? So that's kind of what I've been learning lately with myself, because if we go back to when I first started this strat, I would always take profits like way too early. I mean, just like super early. Like this would be coming down and I would just put an order out there just to get out right under where my first entry was. And I would be happy, so happy about it, because I'd be like, oh, I got to add. And I exited under my first position. Like I'm the best, like, right. But then I would see the stock just continue to go down and down. I'm like, well, why did I even get out there? Like there's so many trades where I would have a cover arrow on this red candle and the red candle would just be still going and I'm just in the middle of the candle and I'm like, well, why did I get out there? But at least now I'm starting to read the price action, and I can tell that it wanted to stop there, right? So that was why I ended up exiting there. But I used to be so bad at my exits, and you have to be willing to be patient. Yeah, trading your P&L is a recipe for disaster. It's so true. There was actually, hold on one sec. I have a pretty good saying that I had found earlier. I want to say it real quick before we move on here. So this is about stop losses for the most part, but it pretty much relates to P&L. It says, trading without a stop loss is like driving a car without brakes. Those who trade without stops eventually stop trading. It's so true, right? And that basically goes for taking profits too, or trading P&L. Like the more you do these bad habits, the more you're just going to fall into a spot where that's just normal to you, and it's going to end up screwing with you in the long run. So Arlo could also be you started too early and your average sucked. Well, I mean, it could be, but in this case it wasn't. I just, like I said, I just kind of read, and again, it's a 1-1-2 system. So technically I still had another ad, and we didn't even get that. That's the other thing too, is you'll see I haven't been hitting full size in these trades, which was another problem I was having. Was I feel like some people like to try to get full size on every single trade. For me, I was doing so much better when I was just accepting the base hits. If I was right and I hit the top, so be it, right? Take the base hit, move on, right? That's kind of what I'm looking for. And I've been quite fine with it. So here on LAKE, let's see what we got here. Had 2 entries, started it at 1766, got to add at 1809. So that put our average at 1787.5, and we ended up getting 22.5 cents out of this thing. And I wish I would have scrolled in a little bit on this one before I took the picture, but as you can see, we were looking for that resistance to start to extend away from the resistance. We got in, got the add through 18, still had another add if it wanted to keep going. It did not, and it started to come down. And this is one of those ones where it kind of stopped at 1750, and then it popped up just a little bit and then continued down. And again, we don't know it's going to do that, guys. So I was kind of reading that this was most likely going to be used as support and attempt to go up before continuing up or down, to, letting it decide a direction. But right after we got out, this thing pretty much just plummeted like all the way down to 16. So obviously we can't predict those. This was a lower float. I don't even know how I ended up getting in this thing. I think the ISW chat was kind of going crazy over the move. So I pulled it up without even looking at the float. So it was kind of my fault. But it ended up working out. And another thing too was with our new set risk on each trade, I'm starting to realize that playing low floats might not even be that bad of a thing. Because we have the set risk every trade. So if the trade wants to go against us and it wants to be a crazy low float and continue to go, we're just going to stop out, right? It's that simple. The only thing I don't like about low floats, like one of the main things I don't like, is just the possible halts. I hate the halts. They are just a pause in the action, but they just promote FOMO, right? Which is a good thing in most cases. But if you're already in like 2 entries and this thing halts, and you only got one ad left, and it halts, and then you get this FOMO to the upside, and it just kind of screws with you a little bit, right? It's not that it's a bad trade, and you could still do well on it, and it could even open up lower. Who knows? It's just, it's annoying because the whole point of you getting into the trade in the first place was you're looking for that big extension on a quick move. So when it halts, you get all these people coming in for the next 5 minutes, and they all want to FOMO into the trade and blah, 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 blah. And, sometimes they keep going, sometimes they don't, but it's basically kind of making the trade more random, if there is such a thing. But I think messing with halts definitely does make it a little bit more random. And that's kind of why I don't like low floats as much. Do you know if it's possible to upload pics of the charts into TraderSync? Well, yeah, that's what I'm doing here. That's where I'm grabbing these from. Also wondered if it's possible to sort the trades by date on the dashboard. Some trades I put in later and they're disordered. Yeah, you can do any of that. You just click right on the top. So like right now, it's listed by date right now, but I could do it by entry price. You could do it by symbol, so it would list it like A through Z. You can hit open date. It's all there. So yeah, you just have to click the top of it here. You can click net return, so you can find your, I don't know why those two are above this. I don't know. It actually makes no sense. Trying to figure out why. I don't know why. You can go the other way. You click on the trade itself, and it'll pop up the screens that we've been on, and you just scroll down, and there's add image under screenshots. So that's how you would put it in there. And then you can tag your setup. You can tag your mistakes if you made them. You can change some of these things like the commissions. And yeah, just to show you guys, I was paying $2.95 not that long ago. So let me go back and change that. Yep, no problem, Kevin. I'm trying to change it. There we go. What did Thomas say here? That was Lake, low float. Yeah. Click on open date and it was, yeah, there we go. Okay. So we had one more here, or no, we had Billy. Sorry. Let me go to Billy. Billy was a one entry, got in at 28.86, out at 28.57, 29 cents per share. Take a look at the chart. I remember this one too. We were looking to add right up there towards 29.50, but it kind of shot up there. And I remember the bid didn't really come up with it. So we never got to add, and this thing ended up shooting down and started chopping around. I really need to start scrolling in for these so that we can actually see them. It's not really good. I mean, I get the idea, but I like to actually be able to see the candles. I don't know why I did that. I've been scrolling out on my charts a lot lately just to see the overall picture from the day before, just looking at how extended the stock is. And it's been helping a lot, but I need to remember to scroll back in when I take the pictures. But as you can see, it's kind of the same thing. Right off the scanner, we get in near the top, and we ended up getting the pullback, and it works out. I think there's one more. This is the 2-share position, yeah, on ESTC. We got in at 73.17, and we got out at 72.23, making 94 cents on the per share. Now, keep in mind, this was one of the lower return in cash money that I had all week, right? $1.88 is all we made. But we got it on one entry with 2 shares, and it was the biggest return per share that we had all week. So, and you're going to see it's kind of the same thing. This thing kind of grinded up, but we started to get a nice little volume extension here through previous resistance, and we were actually looking to add up through close to 75. We were going to look to put an order in there. I think I actually might have put an order in. I don't remember, right under 75, but we didn't quite get that pop, right? And then this thing started to come back down and got right to that previous resistance, and that's where we put an order out, and we got filled, and it actually went all the way down to 71 pretty much right after. It kind of held there for a second and then just went wow. But I was expecting this to kind of jump, and this thing had a spread. It was a pretty big spread. It was like 50 cents plus for most of the time we were trading it. And that's another reason to kind of downgrade on your size as well if the spread's a little bit crazy. I'm encouraged by your continual seeking out advice from a seasoned trader. Don't reinvent the wheel if you don't have to. Mirror him. Encouraged. Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more, man. I don't see the reason, especially if you have something that you've proven to work. You just messed up a couple times. Like, it wasn't the strategy's fault. I had to remind myself of that. I've been putting the average line of my trade before I take the pick. What do you mean? Oh, like your average? That's not a bad idea, actually. Do you find the higher price have bigger spreads and we are just not used to those large price stocks? In most cases, yes. When I like to enter these stocks, typically because I usually always hit the bid to start my positions, I like to see the big push up, and when you see the bid get really close to the ask, that's a good indication that it's somebody buying, like it's some good buying pressure, right? They just raised the ask up so far that eventually their order ran out, and sometimes they'll have leftover shares at where they were trying to get filled, and they'll be sitting there pretty close to where the ask is now. So, and that's usually when I try to hit the bid, when there is a spread on the stocks. Or on it's not always the larger price stocks. I mean, I've seen $10 and $20 stocks have 20, 30 cent spreads, and you're like, yeah, that's 10%. Like, what are you doing? It's a pretty big spread but again, you get these $70 stocks and they have sometimes a point spread, if not more sometimes. And then we had one more trade this week, and it was today, and it was our loser on OMI. So this one we took 2 entries. 685, 696, and we ended up getting out for $7.20 for a total loss of 29.5 cents. So when you really look at it, the return per share was not that bad. So the chart, same thing. I mean, this looks almost just like any other chart. We get an extension. We entered this one a little bit early, kind of missed the top as it went through 7. We actually had an order, at 7:15, and this wick right here at the current high of day when we were in the trade it got to 7:14. So we missed it by a penny. As it confirmed that it was going back through 7, we jumped in. It did go a little bit lower. Could have got out for a little bit of green here, as well as like break even if we really wanted to. We were looking for the bigger breakdown. We actually had the order sitting there at 668, I believe it was, because I remember David saying 666, and it kind of made me laugh. And unfortunately, this is one that just did not want to break down at all, as you can see. It's not always going to come down to previous resistance or even VWAP or anything like that. Sometimes it's going to make its own decisions. And unfortunately, it went high of day and we stopped out. And guess what? If we go look at that chart, you're going to see that it made me look like a fool because it ended up being a top tick. So this was, I mean, again, I was scrolled out. So look at this extension. It was a pretty nice extension. We entered again, looking for the breakdown, didn't get it, and we stopped out, right? Now keep in mind, this did go higher. We stopped out at 720, and this went up to 726.5, and for all we know, it could have kept going, but it didn't. It got rejected. It was a little bit of a fake out. It came down. It would not have hit our profit target on either of these candles, but it gave you a little bit of like sloppy seconds, gave you a descending triangle, and then failed, and we ultimately would have gotten filled somewhere 666? 668. So eventually we would have got it, like somewhere in here, if we wanted to hold that long, right? Looking for that 1-to-1 risk reward because of the second entry not being a very good one. Am I mad at the trade? No. This is exactly what a trade looks like that didn't work. Now keep in mind, I would look really smart if this thing would have came up here, came back down, used the 713, 714 area as support, and then just grinded higher the rest of the day, which it has done in the past. Didn't do it this time. So what, right? Move on. You're going to have losers that just don't do what you wanted to do. The high probability setup just didn't work this time. That's what I need to realize, right? I need to realize that and just keep moving. Yes, I am using the 112 again. And that's the other thing too, is I haven't even gotten full size on any of these trades yet because they've actually been working. And the reason I didn't get full size on this one is I want to show you. When a trade comes up and if it keeps running, I'm going to look to get, like if this sort of kept going up, because this was a pretty key area on the daily. Right here, you see all this resistance sitting here around that 730 area. So my initial plan was to add in and then look for that pop up towards 750 to get my final add. But it never got there. It formed a high here at 714 and it tried to pull down. Pull back. So once we attempt to get a pullback there, what that's telling me is we failed to break down. So if we're going to fail to break down there, it's not done, extending itself. It's not done getting to where it wants to go just yet. So why would I want to stay in a trade that possibly is still looking to go higher? It makes no sense, right? And I used to do this back in the day, and that's just how I would get my bigger losers, is I would just stay in this and I would add, and then it would do the same exact thing. It would attempt to pull back, but not really, and then go higher. And then I would add again. It would attempt to pull back, and then it would just go higher. And that it turns into a grinder, and you end up fighting it. Obviously, this is a bad example because that's not what it did. It actually ended up going down. But what I'm getting at is if every time in the past that this happened and I would have just cut it like I did here, I would be on cloud 9 right now. I would be so confident and I would be so much further in my trading journey right now. But that's the whole point. Without that, I wouldn't be able to learn this lesson because I never would have known it was a lesson to begin with. I would have just been doing it until I didn't. And then who knows, I might have ended up blowing up my full account when I started trying to trade too big because I still didn't actually know that this was a lesson to be learned. But now I know that if I just cut my loss every single time that it tries to consolidate or try to pull back and then goes higher, I'm fine, right? I'm out of the trade. I don't have to worry if it goes higher or if it's a fake out or whatever. I exited the trade. I'm done with the trade. I'm moving on to look for the next best opportunity because at this point, it is no longer an intense move and it is no longer pulling back. So I don't want anything to do with it. I don't want to be in this trade anymore. If I continue with this trade, now I'm trading something that I would never trade if I had never been in the trade from the first move to begin with, right? That's how you should look at a lot of your trades. You entered the trade over here with a strategy, with a plan. That plan and strategy is no longer valid. So when this goes high of day right here, would you ever take this trade if you didn't have shares in it already? Would you ever enter the trade right here? I wouldn't. It wouldn't make any sense. There's no extension there. Now, if this would have shot up to 750 and maybe even through 750, it's a different story. But if this is what I saw, there's no way I would be looking to enter a position here. So why do I want to be in the trade anymore? It makes no sense, right? So I want you guys to understand that you need to follow your plan, follow your risk, your set guidelines when it comes to your risk management. GDT trade was scary to watch today, LOL. Yes, it was. And that kind of plays into what I totally forgot I wasn't on this chart, so you guys couldn't see that well, so I'm sorry. But I totally was cringing a little bit when I saw that starting to get away from him. And he got lucky. I'm going to tell you right now, he got lucky. He was in a little bit of a hope zone because that thing triple topped right at his stop. And not once did it just even poke through to stop him out. It would have been probably close to like a $1,500 loss. And, he's trying to make $100 a day. That's 15 trading days worth of profit just gone. So that definitely got away from him a little bit. But hey, he still traded his plan. And the only reason that it got away from him like that, he did start with triple his size and he just kind of went with it. So his risk, I think his max loss that he wants to be per trade is $500. So if he would have started with 100 shares instead of 300, it would have been right there anyway. So pretty good scanner if he's making money off of it. How consistent are the scanners you use? I don't really know how to, I like to get a little carried away talking about the scanners because I love them so much, but I can't trade without them at this point. Every trade that I take is directly off the scanners. I don't do any prep work. I don't stay up late at night going through charts and stuff like that. I literally wake up in the morning, and when you see my live streams, I start 9:20, sometimes a little bit after that, and I basically just let the scanners do all the work for me. They tell me when these intense moves are happening, and I jump in, and it's a high probability setup. That's what the scanner is designed to do. It's designed to get you to pull the chart up, and if your strategy that you're implementing applies to that chart, then go for it. But at any given time, the ISW scanners are only going to be giving you the top alerts at any given time. So when you see something at the top of the list, that's usually your best option to play right then and there. And it's really that simple. You cherry pick. You basically cherry pick right off the scanner. It's nice. So you have a speed component for the setup. What do you mean speed component? But it did juju him kind of. What do you mean juju? That was somebody was giving me, I don't even remember what that was about. Zishan had just mentioned it, but I went back and listened to myself say juju, but I didn't listen to what it was about. 16 viewers. What do we need? We need 19 more. We need 19 more for the giveaway. I'm getting there. So I'm going to go through and we're actually going to do some math here together, and we're going to change these hot buttons. So for anybody that was asking about well, let me do two things real quick. Discord. What was the other one that I had up? I know I had mentioned this earlier. Guys, don't ever feel obligated. I just put this out here just in case there is somebody out there that is appreciative of the content, which I know you all are. But if there's anybody that wants to give a little bit extra, I did make a Patreon account, so it'll help support the channel. Obviously, we're not trading, life-changing money at the moment. So to keep everything kind of going and keep me, happy to keep producing the content and stuff like that, just a way for you guys to say thank you. Or say thank you for doing, putting everything together and stuff like that. I do put a lot of work into this. I put a lot of work into just myself with the trading, but I do try to do my best to get the content out there for you guys, which I have a good general trading tips tomorrow already scheduled. It'll be coming out at 11 o'clock Eastern in the morning. So look for that. It's about looking at the big picture. That's what that video is about. It's a nice, short, and quick one, just like all the general tip ones are. And yeah, so I just like to get those things out of the way just in case you guys are, feeling a little generous. And there's obviously a link down below to support the channel as well. I think it's like the first one there. I don't think I've ever changed it for the live streams. Isn't the speed of the move what differentiates it to a less productive grinding move? Yes. I always good thought process there, Vincenzo. So I always preach this as well. The stronger the move, the weaker the trend. And what I mean by that is the stronger the move you get, the quicker you're going to run out of buyers in this case. So it's the weaker the trend. Like I'm not going to say you can't, but it's very unlikely that this thing can just go straight up, right? It's not just, especially non-low float stocks. The only way that you're going to see something go straight up is when it's like a buyout at a specific price, and it'll just go like straight to that price and then go sideways. But in most cases, when stocks are just trading normal, you get a big intense move, the odds are you're going to run out of buying pressure, and then it's going to start to at least get a pullback like this before it continues, right? Because you ran out of buyers. Now everyone starts to sell. You get some shorts coming in, and then the buyers step back in, right? Now you got people buying the dip, looking to go higher. And so basically it's always, when price is moving one way or the other, it's an imbalance. When it's moving up, you have more buyers than sellers. When it's moving down, you have more sellers than buyers. It really is that simple. But when you get a huge influx of one versus the other, you get intense moves. But when you get those big intense moves, you get people FOMOing in, you just have normal people buying. You got maybe banks, hedge funds, you got whoever it is buying to create this big move. Eventually, you're going to run out of those people that are buying, and you're going to get your pullback. So really, if you, like, my strategy is to look for when those buyers kind of exhaust themselves and look to ride that pullback back down. All right. That's my strategy in a nutshell. And it's just, it seems to be proven over the course of time that the stronger that move is to the upside, or the stronger the move is to the downside. I'm just short biased, so I kind of describe everything that, as if you're going short in this position. So if you get that really strong move up, the odds are it's going to come back down, right? Stronger move, the weaker the trend. Technically, you can do the same strategy without the scanner, but it would be hard to look for opportunities. Constantine's absolutely right. That's why I don't push and sell the scanners to you guys, because you don't need them, but they are a very valuable tool, super valuable tool. You can have like a normal Thinkorswim scanner. You can use all these other scanners, and a lot of those will tell you like stocks that are moving, but the problem is it's not going to narrow it down to the best opportunities, right? You're going to have to flip through so many different charts on so many just different alerts that these scanners are giving you, where ISW, you literally get to kind of cherry pick, right? If your strat says, I'm looking for this specific float, I'm looking for this specific volume, this specific price, whatever it may be, you can sit there and cherry pick that stuff. And that's kind of the advantage. And yes, you could try to do that on other scanners, but again, you're going to get ones that aren't like, they're not giving you the intense, I don't even know how to explain it without trying to sell you guys, but basically this has the ISW scanners give you a combination of like the volume, which is basically liquidity. So it's giving you the liquidity, previous moves that it's made, basically it's just looking at overall extension, like, right? It's not just giving you, like, say it made a big move from the downside, like it's going to show you that because it's an intense move, whereas some of the other scanners, it might have to be reaching like a certain point, like it might have to be at high of day, it might have to, have all these other parameters within the scan. But the intensity stock watch scanners, they literally just tell you when there's an intense move. So if it applies to your strategy after you pull up the chart, that's the whole point of the scanners, is to get you to pull the chart up early, and then you apply your strategy to it. It's that simple. And again, this works to the upside and the downside. I just happen to trade looking for stocks going to the upside more often. I just like them better that way. Have you quantified the intensity of a move versus a grind? Can't a scanner be made to filter this? I mean, by the time you could filter that, I don't think the move would already be done, right? In order for you to know it's a grinder, you would almost have to let this full move happen, because it would have to involve some kind of price, right? It would have to make the move, like you'd have to somehow put into to quantify. You'd have to say, okay, I went from 650 to 7 in 30 seconds on volume, like this amount of volume. That's an intense move. Now, how do we know it's an intense move versus a grinder? Well, it's an intense move now, but in order to know if it's a grinder, you're going to have to let this move play out. And by the time it plays out, it could have already, the move could already be gone. So I'm not really sure how you could do that. That's kind of where the feel and just the experience in the market really kind of comes into play. I actually tried that for a couple of weeks, but it requires some preparation and watching a number of tickets all the time. Yeah, and that's actually, I should have just read what Constantine said before I kind of went off on my little diddly-daddly rant. That's the beauty of the scanners, right? You pay for the scanners to do the work for you. It really comes down to that. Like for me, it's perfect because I have the kids. I don't have time to sit down and do all that prep work. And yeah, you can do all that prep work. Like you can pull up the gappers list on like FinViz or something like that, do all the work, have all those charts up. But guess what? I can't tell you the last time that I traded a stock that I brought up off the gapper list on any given day. I can't even remember the last time. Almost every day that I trade something, it was something that wasn't on any of the lists that I pulled up beforehand. And I'm sure Constantine can kind of attest to that as well. Pullbacks have been blowing through my usual levels like crazy lately. Flushes my education in trading right down the toilet. Again, a lot of these places that are teaching you, they don't tell you that, like, let's just look at AMI for a second here. Actually, you know what? Let's look at this. Well, no, we'll just leave it on AMI and we'll just use a theoretical. So most people say, okay, this thing made a low of day. If it comes back down to it, put your stop right below it, right? And if it goes below that, the odds are it's going to continue. Well, how many times do you see it poke through? You have a big surge in volume, and then it just goes and it ends up doing this, right? It happens all the time because what that is it's the big players knowing that a lot of people have their stops just chilling there. They know everyone has this line drawn. So what do? They push it down and then they pretty much reverse their position, taking up all that liquidity, all those stop losses. And then as they do that, the price rebounds back up. And then they end up, they can kind of push the trade up from there because now they have a good average, right? And if for some reason it starts to fail, they can always just obviously dump their shares at break even, whatever. They know what they're doing. That's why I said if you're going to play support resistance, it's very easy. But at the same time, you have to be willing to accept that that's going to happen a lot. And it's going to frustrate you. That's why I said support resistance trading is very 50-50. But it also helps you learn the emotions of trading, right? That's why I always recommend when you first start trading, learn support and resistance and trade it because it's very low risk. And at the same time, it's going to make you realize that you're going to lose. And it's also going to make you realize how to start reading charts, right? You're going to start to see that happen over and over again, and you're going to start to be able to realize it. How do you first hear of them? I'm assuming you're talking about the scanners. I heard that I actually found them out through Kevin Avery. I think he was like the first person on YouTube that actually had the scanners. The scanners are still relatively new. I don't think Brian's actually had the scanners out for that long. I want to say maybe like a couple years, but they really didn't become public until last year. So it was through Kevin. I actually approached Brian and said, hey, I'm going to make a YouTube channel. What do you think about me being an affiliate? And he was like, well, make a couple videos and we'll see. And if you go back and watch my first couple of videos, I don't really know what he saw in me, but maybe it was the way that I talked about wanting to learn. And I don't know. I don't know why he took me in, but he did. And it was the best thing that ever happened to me. I mean, it may not look like it, that I'm like some success story right now, but hopefully 5 years from now, I can look back to these days and just be super thankful that Brian is the one that kind of took me in. Now, I think we're to the point now where he's not going to do that. So don't think you can just go like start a YouTube channel and he's going to like just open his arms, because he's very picky about who comes in and out of Team ISW. And believe it or not, like even Thomas can yeah, maybe it was the beard. Thomas was part of the room for a little bit, and it's life-changing. It is. I mean, you think you know something, and just like 2 or 3 weeks in the channel, and the chat, and you'll realize that you don't really know anything. It's pretty powerful, and it's just the core guys in there. It's like me, GDT, Kevin Avery, Brian, and a few other of the main guys from ISW that aren't on YouTube or anything. Like they're just part of the team. They've pretty much been there. I know 2 of them have pretty much been there since the beginning. But yeah, and Thomas is right. With that example, that's exactly what they're doing. When they push down to those key areas, they're just shaking out the weak, because they know that newer traders are putting their stop losses right there. Now, the reason that you should never not put your stop loss there is because it's not always going to be the case. Sometimes the stock is just going to be weak, and it's not really people pushing it down to hit those stop losses. And in those cases, when you hit an area like this where there's really nothing past it, this thing could just free fall, kind of like the SPY's been doing, right? So it's important to have your stop there, because you can't be like, oh, this is just somebody trying to shake me out again. Well, guess what? This time, instead of it stopping here, and you get the big surge in liquidity, and people are buying it up and it ends up going higher, this time it just drops straight to 550. And of course that's going to be the first time that you don't put a hard stop in, because you're tired of getting shaken out, right? And then you get screwed, and then you're like, oh, the market's against me, blah, 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 blah. No, it's not. If you would have just put your stop there, you would have been out of the trade just like every other time, and you wouldn't have had to been worrying about it, and you would have looked super smart for getting out there, right? You can't hindsight trade. Anytime you start to hindsight trade, you're just hurting yourself. You can't look back at a chart and be like, oh man, instead of covering there, I should have tripled my position, because look at what it did. Well, yeah, of course, look at what it did. It's after the fact. But in the moment, you don't know if this thing's going to come back down like it did. This thing could have just kept going up to 750. Looking at the daily, it could have broke that 730 area, went right up to this area, which is 784, broke through that, and just started squeezing. Could have went up to the overall high of 843 and then squeezed through that and just kept going. You don't know what it's going to do. You don't. And obviously it's capable of doing it, because look over here. This had a multi-day runner over here. So you don't know, and it finished up pretty high. So you never know what these things are going to do. This thing is in a little bit of a range here, though, if you look at it, from like $6 up to about 750. All right, let's see. But isn't hard stop loss that comes on level 2? What do you mean? Like if you put the liquidity out there as a hard stop, yeah, your order would be out there on level 2. The room is excellent to trade with like-minded traders. It's very true. Makes swing trading the trenders look better. Say what? I don't swing trade, so I don't really know what you're saying. Do you and Brian tend to trade the same tickers? In most cases, yeah, because like I said, the scanners narrow everything down, and it's giving you the best alerts. So when something pops up, especially early in the morning, the odds are we're going to be trading it. Brian is a superhuman, a super trader. The dude just trades crazy. I'll show you some of his charts. Let's see if I can. What the heck just happened there? There we go. See if I can zoom. All right, let's see what that looks like. There we go. Okay, that's not too bad. All right, so of course it's not going to let me. Let's see if I double click over here if it works. Nope, crappers. That's not even his chart. That was mine. If I leave it like this, will it let me? Okay. So it's not the best. You can't really see it, but So this was a long, so that's not really a good example of what I was, because he plays different strategies too. But as you can see, this one out of the gate, he went long and rode that one up. He plays a lot of low floaters too, which I don't. But here we go. So this is a good example. He was looking for a hangover. It popped up against them at the open, smashed it, and then ended up covering, got back in on the bounce, and then, so sloppy seconds is what I call that, and then covers down there. That was the trade that was all we just looked at. Here's the case of one that didn't work, right? Long. It started extending itself, and he realized it wasn't working, and he checked out. Of course, I'm looking. Let me find one of the ones where it's like an actual intense move. Here we go. So IQV, whenever this was, look at the extension. These are the ones that I look for. So if this popped up, this is the kind of charts that I'm looking for. You get the big move, get in, and as it comes back down, he scales out, obviously, because his position size is larger. Another one here, as you can see, the big move up, extension, scales in, and then scales out on the way back down. Another one here, WDC, big move up, scale in, scale on the way back down. It's literally rinse and repeat with the intense moves. Like I said, I have some charts of like other things that this was one he was trying to the downside. OPTT, I remember that was a lower float that was moving. DMAC here, DMAC, another one, just big move to the upside, scale out on the way down. Another one, EPZM, big move up, scale out. It's rinse and repeat, guys. That's basically what I look for any given day. As you can see, that's pretty much what this chart is. It just didn't really break down for us. And yeah. So to answer your question, yes. Jean, what's up, man? New to this, what's your trading strategy? Well, I never really answered that earlier, so let's go ahead. I'll just explain it to you real quick. It's pretty easy. And then we're going to actually change these hot buttons real quick while I answer your questions. So yesterday's high, February 27th, that's what this dotted green line is. And it's actually getting ready to disappear because we're getting close to midnight. But I look for stocks that are moving and they go through previous resistance and extend themselves. So as you can see, the previous resistance happened to be from yesterday. This can be from pre-market. It can be from intraday. Like if this thing would have popped up, and technically you do get a little bit of a move here, but that's why I like to scroll out. If I was only focused on intraday, like I wasn't looking at yesterday, I could have got burnt by this a little bit, right? Because we did get an intense move here and pretty much a little bit of consolidation and then the move higher. Because if I was only looking intraday, I would have been like, oh, previous resistance is right here, 630. We're getting extended away from it. I'm going to look to enter as I felt like it was stopping right over the 650 area. But by being scrolled out, I realized that we were right at a key area. Now, a lot of people would be like, oh, high of day, double tap. They could have been looking double top, and they could have been looking at this as like a triple top. Well, I'm not a big fan of those types of moves, especially when it's only a small little extension, which was only 20 cents here, into that triple top, right? I'd rather just not take that trade. To me, those are a little bit risky because if you do get through that area, it's going to squeeze a little bit, right? Because again, what did I just say? You have those stop losses there. And this is actually this is actually a good example of what we were just talking about earlier. It poked through yesterday's high and it ate up the liquidity, came back down like it was, attempting to come down, and then it shot up, right? So that would be a failed breakdown or failed fake out is what I was trying to say. So like I was explaining it to the downside where they come down, they try to get that liquidity and then continue lower, where in this case, they ate that liquidity up and it ended up continuing. So if you were assuming it was going to be a fake out and you didn't put a hard stop in, well, guess what? You ended up having to go through some pain. And if you did want to hold on to it and become profitable on it, you would have had to wait quite a bit, right? And it never really came down that far below that area. So you wouldn't have made as much money as you were risking. And that goes back to what we were talking about even earlier. So my strategy is I'm looking for extension away from previous resistance, something right off the scanner, because right off the scanner means it's an intense move. And the scanner is going to basically allow me to cherry pick, like I keep saying, these intense moves. So when I get an intense move to the upside, I look to enter short if it's to the upside. If it's to the downside, which I need to get better at, I would obviously be looking to long. It's the same exact thing. If this was to the downside and it was making the big move to the downside, I'd be looking to long. Same thing, just in reverse. So in this case, we get the extension up. I look to short. It's a 1-1-2 system. So I enter with 25% of my shares, my max share size. And then the first add, which would be my second entry, would be another 25% of the overall share size. So this would put me at 50% of my share size. Then if it wants to keep going, all on that same move, I would get one last add for the other 50% of my share size, which would basically give me the average of this. It's in the middle. And then wherever my average is, then you take my final add and then go in the middle of that. That would be my final average. And then I'd be looking for this thing to come back down. And I always have a set risk before I get into the trade. And that's what these hot buttons are for. So what I'm doing is I'm taking the length of the move. So the length of this move to me, it started at 650 and it made its way up to where we got in at 688. So 638. So I should have hit the 50-cent button, which no, I didn't change these. Or yeah, I did. Hold on. Okay, so I must have went off of, what did I go off? I don't even remember what I went off of. Maybe I went smaller because it was later in the day. I don't remember, to be completely honest, but that's actually one of the key issues that we need to talk about. But anyways, what I'm supposed to do is I look at the length of the move. If the length of the move started here at, we'll just say 635, we entered at 685. So that's 50 cents. So technically we should have hit the 50-cent button. So our starting share size should have been 50 shares on this, but for some reason we only took 15. I'm starting to wonder why, to be completely honest. How do we get 15? $1.50. I don't know. I'd actually, honestly, now I'm curious. I'd have to go back and watch my live stream to figure out why I chose 15 shares there. But anyways, that's the goal, is to hit the button after I determine the length of the move. And then basically that's risking, right now with these buttons, it was risking off saying, okay, this could make another 50-cent move. So I'm taking the length of the move and basically doubling it. And that's how I determined the risk for my share size. So 100, let me pull up the calculator and I'll show you how I got these numbers. So if I'm risking $25 on the trade, and it made a 1-point move, divide by 0.25. Oh, I did it backwards. 0.25 divided by 1. You get 25 cents. So if you do, it's actually just 25 divided by, say, a 50-cent move, it'd be 50, right? So if I hit this over here, you guys can't even see my, you guys can't even see that. Sorry. It's my montage. So if I hit $1, it's 25, right? So I did that equation. So $25 divided by the 1-point move, it gives me 25 shares. So if I got in, well, let's say we'll use the 50-cent for this one, just because that's actually what it did. So $25 divided by the 50-cent move, it gives us 50 shares. So we would come over here, we'd hit the 50 cents because that was the length of the move, and it's telling us that 25% of our position would be 50 shares. So we would enter 50 here. If we wanted to add, it would be another 50. And then when we wanted to get our final add, it would be 100 shares. And what we're saying is when we got in at 685, we're saying the odds are it's only going to go another 50 cents. But that's all on the same move, right? That's what we're implying. So if it would have went, let me put this over to the side just a little so I can click back on it. There we go. So if this would have kept going up another 50 cents, it would have worked out in our favor because we would have got both adds and it would have came back down. However, that's obviously not what happened on this chart, but that's the strategy. Let me just find, I'm not going to have one. That's the problem because I don't really get full size that often. I'd have to go back and look at my journal, but that's the idea. It's a 1-1-2 system. You're giving yourself some leeway to let the system work for you. And I'm basically 50 cents was the move. I'm gauging the length of the move and I'm giving myself the length of that 100% of the way. And that's actually kind of what I'm going to do is change my share size a little bit. But I'm starting to think instead of changing my share size here, I might just have to be a little bit more aggressive with the actual length of the move, because I'm starting to realize that I should have. Let me see what the difference would have been. Well, we know it was 30 cents. So if it was 100, so yeah, if I had 100 shares there, I would have been right at my max risk when I cut it. So that would have made more sense if I used 50 cents. I'm really curious to why I only use 15 or 50 shares and why I only use 15. Interesting. I was a little all over the place this morning. My brain was a little all over the place. But again, let me pull up, let me see if I can find one real quick. Where is, there we go. Let's go full screen. Let's go setups. Let's see if I can find one where it says 3 entries. Or let's just type in, let's go back to date. And it's set up 3 entries. Just picking a random one here. I was, oh yeah, I'm not going to have the, dang it. It's by date. Let's see if eBay is one of them. I think this is when I was trying to get full size. Yeah, so this is actually not a bad example, but it's not a great one either. So on the way up, these were actually in reverse. My first entry was actually the top, second entry was actually the middle, and my final entry was on the bottom. But that's when I was trying to get full size and everything. But what's up, James? How you doing, man? So the idea would be, say the bottom one was my first entry, and then as the stock kept going, the middle one would be my second entry, and then the third one would be my final entry, which would be 2, right? See how extended this is over this previous resistance? We're looking to get into the position. We scale in 1, 2, 1, 2, and then we hit 2 on the top, or 1, 1, and then 2 on the top, and then we get the move back down, and we cover. We could scale out if we want to try, or you can just, obviously exit your open. It's really whatever your strategy is, but that is the idea behind the trade. So I kind of did it in reverse on this trade specifically, but this is back when I was kind of going through my mind games that I was playing with myself, and yeah. So this is kind of what it's supposed to look like. Let's try to find another one where I actually have a chart. I don't think I have any because I switched over to TraderSync, and these are all older tickers. Yeah, I mean, if I didn't have Reggie, I'm not going to have anything behind this. But can you tag your videos so we can return easily to rewatch, like your whole button thing? I'll definitely need to rewatch. What button thing? Let me get rid of this. I mean, I can if I know what I don't know exactly what you're asking there. Yeah, I'm wondering, since I don't have connection to the server, if I'll even... Oh. I feel like I'm getting tired. It's ironic because I've been drinking a balls. We're actually almost to 20 viewers. If we can find 15-ish more viewers, we could still do the giveaway, but I'm not going to stick around for too much longer. The timestamp? Oh, gotcha. That makes a lot of sense. I've been doing the timestamps on the live streams from the morning, just to give you the idea, or let you guys know where the trades start. So if you guys were looking to just watch the trades live, I've been doing that. But I could go back through these live streams and kind of timestamp some important areas. I'd like to see how you make your speed buttons and how to use them. I have a video on how to make them. Let me find it real quick. I'm wondering if Ami was a bad example for myself, because I want to go back and find that, figure out myself. I want to figure out by myself why I took the smaller share size. I'm wondering if it was because of, I honestly don't know why. I'll have to go back and watch it. I know it was near like the end of the session, like end of my session per se. So it could have been that. Could have just been I didn't have that much confidence in it. I don't know. I have to go back and watch it. This is also why you keep a journal, right? I didn't go in my journal today. It's been pretty hectic since I got off this morning. Just dealing with the kid. My mom came over for a while. So, hot buttons. Now this is an older video, but it should kind of get you the idea of getting it set up. And sorry for the crappy mic, but hey, it is what it is. James, that is not the case. I have 2 sheets of paper with notes from this talk, Tim. Yeah, there you go. See, you could always just do that. And always feel free, Mike, to ask me something to clarify, because I know sometimes I get caught in my thoughts and I don't necessarily explain them very well. Plus, I am fairly tired today. I didn't get very good sleep the night prior. So sometimes I get lost in my train of thought, and then I realize by the end of it, I ended up on like a completely different subject. James, I used to pay exactly what you guys are paying. The only reason I get better commissions now through CMEG is because I'm basically free advertising for them. So by me promoting the platform, which I don't really go out of my way to promote it, I did a review. I answer questions for others on YouTube that have questions about it. So basically I somewhat work for them. So as a way to help me for doing the things that I do for them, they give me cheaper commissions. And it's really not cheaper if you're using bigger share size. But since I am using smaller share size, it does help. They're just giving me the option to do per share instead of per ticket, which they obviously don't do for everybody. But since I am, again, basically working for free, they have given me that opportunity to trade for a little bit lower commission. So in a way, I am earning a wage from them through smaller commissions by doing what I do for them. So yes. You did great, Tim. I look forward to these every week. Yeah, there's some weeks that are a lot better than others. I kind of came into this week, not really. I just wanted to kind of talk about my progress and just moving forward, how we finally have found a direction. It's taken literally 2 months for us to kind of get our head out of our ass and realize that our 112 system was working and there was nothing wrong with it. And for some reason, we kept trying to get away from it. Because we made 2 mistakes. I made 2 mistakes. There was nothing wrong with the strategy. And I finally realized it. It took me forever, but I finally realized it. And now we're back. And now we're just kind of easing our way back into it. That's why the share size is so small right now. We're just making sure that we still got it. We're making sure that everything is still working correctly. We're making sure that there's no bugs there. And we're also just making sure that we can still cut trades like we're supposed to, right? So that's where we're at right now. And on top of that, one of the hugest, best things that I could have ever did for my trading was set risk. Set risk every trade, guys. Know how much you can lose per trade and leave it there. Don't ever lose more than that amount. I mean, obviously there's going to be slippage. Obviously there's going to be times where you need to give it a little bit more room because it just makes sense. That's fine. But have that set risk in place every single time, because that is what is going to make or break you in the end. Keeping your profits, I wouldn't necessarily like say keeping your profits, but risk management, sustainability, consistency, like these are all the main things that come with trading, not hitting home runs. I just gave you a little sneak peek of tomorrow's video. What's up, Tom? Speaking of GDT, what's going on, man? How you doing? Yeah, I'm just a little hard on myself because I'm not going to lie. I like to think of myself as somebody that picks up on things very quickly. I'm not somebody to think that I like to take a long time to learn something. So the fact that I've been doing this for 1.5 years now, and I basically feel like I'm paper trading right now, it's humbling. It's very humbling. It goes to show you that this is not easy. And if it were that easy, everybody would be doing it, right? Everybody would be doing it. And it just goes to show you that perseverance and staying afloat. One of the biggest problems that new traders have is they try to go too big too quick and they blow up their accounts. And then that's the end of it. They don't have any money to buy back in, basically. So, the riffraff just showed up. You're smarter than you look, for sure. You're such an ass. Yeah, we were talking about you. Somebody had mentioned that your trade today was a scary one, and I was just agreeing with them that it was a little scary to watch. But I did explain to them that you would have been well within your max risk per trade if you would have taken the correct share size to start the trade. So don't worry. James, 4 years in. Yeah, developing strategy can take years, but I hear you. I thought I could learn it all in 6 months. Everybody does. That's the problem. 5 years of trading. Yeah. I'm a year and a half in, and I already feel like, I don't feel like a failure, but I feel like I should be further, right? Everyone probably feels that way. And I just know that I have to kind of keep trucking. I just gotta keep punching the punching bag and putting the time in. Accidentally tripling size. I love those days. Yeah, when you win. Be more scared. Okay, Brian. But I'm moving forward, and I think the next month, the month of March, is going to be very telling to where my trading's going to go from here. And I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good about March. I feel like it's going to be a good month. I feel like we have a lot of things in place, and I feel like we're ready to start pushing the buttons, right? So that's where I am right now, and I just really am excited to get into the month of March. I mean, obviously I was excited starting this week because I knew what I was about to do, and I feel almost relieved to get back to what was working for me, right? I do understand why I tried to get away from it, but looking back in hindsight, obviously, right? Hindsight's 2020. I don't understand why I got away from it in the first place. Again, I understand the reasons why I did, but I don't understand why I wanted to get away from it so badly. When if I would have just took a step back and realized that those 2 big losses that I took, they were completely on me. I'm the one that didn't stop out when I was supposed to. I'm the one that let the trades get out of hand, not the strategy. If you go back and look at both of those charts, which I'm pretty sure I have the LYV chart, just so I can show you. Where did that go? Pretty sure I've shown this chart on here a couple times. Oops, full screen. Probably just scroll down. It wasn't that long ago. Just look for the really big number. There it is. I might have to go. Yeah. Actually, I don't remember. I think this is the one I didn't have the chart on. But this isn't right either. These buys aren't right because they were actually over here. Because I got in on this move and I just kept adding and adding and adding and adding and adding. And then when it broke, it started to pull back, right? What would I do now, right? I would cut right when it went through high day here. But instead, I let it keep going and I added and added. And then look at what it did. It never even thought to come back down there. And my average was somewhere around like 60, a little under 69. And it just hovered and it just kept going higher and then a little down, then higher. But it never even attempted to come back down. But if I would have just got in 1, 1, 2, it went up, or like 1, 1, 2 on this candle, comes down, I probably would have taken some off there because that was a pretty decent drop. And then when it goes high day, I stop out the rest, right? It's that simple. Or if it doesn't pull back enough where I take any off and then it goes high day, I just stop out, right? That's the plan. But what did I do? I didn't do that. I just let this thing keep going and going and going. And look, it went almost a full 2 points after where I should have stopped out, but I didn't. And MTSI is the same thing. I mean, MTSI, I just fought that thing like it was my job. It's like I was designed to fight that thing, and I just kept going. Ooh, anyone have the flu? Nicholas, what's up, man? Doing business with Chinese. What's going on? Uh-oh. We're getting close to the giveaway. We only need 14 more people. Because of the baysayers. 2 years of practicing. In third year, I started with real account. Still, yeah, you're always going to still be learning. Some of my trades from 1 to 2 years ago really pissed me off to look at in TraderView. It's so true. I can't tell you how many times I go back and look at some of the trades. What I used to do is I would go back and look at my trades on Thinkorswim on demand, and I would look at like where I entered trades and stuff, and I'm just like, looking at it like, what? Like what? Like why did I get in here? Like it's pretty crazy to look at. It's kind of funny. I have coronavirus and I blew up my account. Get out of here. Please watch more of my vids for the YouTube ad revenue. Everybody go unsubscribe from learning to day trade. GDT has a custom cap. It took years to make. And it came crooked. I cracked up when I saw that on your video. That's funny. Hey, look, there's Brian himself. What's up, man? Uh-oh. We're within 9 people. Everybody just kind of came out of the woodworks. That cap is forever famous. Yeah, you should like frame that thing and put it on the wall behind you. That would be pretty funny. If anybody has any specific scanner questions, now would be the time. The owner and maker of Intensity Stockwatch Scanners, B himself, is here. So if you do have any questions, feel free to chime in and ask those. Yeah, the hat itself, let me go grab it real quick. I meant to put it on. I totally forgot. Sorry. So the hats that he had made are these with the older, it's not the older, it's a relatively new logo, but it's the older of the two logos. The logo you see on my screen right now, the gold logo, is I believe the one he wants to use for the next printouts. I'm in bed. This is helping put me to sleep. You're such a jerk face. I mean, I love you. Sorry. This is fun. Yeah. Mr. Gifford, what's going on, man? I think that's the first time you said anything, isn't it? I don't remember seeing you in here earlier. You just needed Brian to come around for you to say something. I got it. Hurts my feelings a little bit, but I understand it. But yeah, I've kind of run out of things to talk about. So really, if you guys have some questions, comments, concerns, anything, feel free to chime in. I'm excited. Like I said, I'm excited to get into the month of March so that we can start kind of hammering down the strategy and just kind of moving forward with it. Isn't that the Harry Potter symbol? Wait, is it? Oh, the triangle? I have no idea. I don't really watch Harry Potter. When do you plan on stepping up your share size? That's kind of what we were talking about a little bit earlier. Uh-oh. We're within 10 people now. That's the closest we've got. Delta Phi. Or Delta Phi. I said Phi. Oh my God. For the math geeks. So right now I'm kind of in, I wouldn't say, I mean, I'll just say it. It's strategy development, right? I'm basically taking my old strategy that I was using and I was profitable on. I'll keep this up because this is probably more relevant to anything. Go full screen again. So when I was using my charts, or when I was using the 112 system before, let's go to the line chart. It's a little easier to look at. I mean, this is what we were looking at. I was profitable. I was making good money. And then we had MTSI pop up, right? That was a big loss for us. But again, as I've stated plenty of times before, this was my fault. It was not the strategy. We took that month off to try to figure out how to not let this happen again. Came back nice and refreshed, and we made all of that back plus some. Had a little bit of a stagnant period. The market kind of died on us a little bit there for a while, for me at least, in my strategy. And we started to go back up, and then we ran into LYV, and this one kind of mind fucked me a little bit. I wasn't prepared to have a loss like this, and it got us pretty good. And it really started to make me question everything. I just started getting down in the dumps. And this is, I mean, you guys have been here if you've been following me. This was right before the new year. And I started telling myself, okay, maybe this strategy isn't going to work for me. Maybe I need to tweak it. Maybe I need to try something else. And that's what all of this chop and slow to the downside is me attempting to figure out what I need to do, right? I've found something that might have worked and then it didn't. And then I would change it. Started to work, didn't, and then I change it. Didn't work. Okay, try something else. It's sort of working. Okay, it didn't work, right? And I don't even remember which day it was, but I came back. I think I was talking to David at the time, and I straight up just looked at this chart, and I was like, what's up with this chart? If I would have cut this trade like I was supposed to, like I'm going to now, this line would have stopped way up here, like over the 750 mark. And then this all wouldn't have happened. Well, you don't know if it would have happened or not, right? You don't know what, obviously you can't predict the future. Obviously this was in the past, but you can't say what would have happened if something else happened. But the odds are, if I was cutting trades like I was supposed to, we would have probably still had the confidence boost. And if we wouldn't have lost a lot of money throughout this period, as this period happened, this would have been up here, right? So we would have been looking pretty sweet on the P&L chart. Well, we gained all that back. We came back up and we were doing well. And then LYV happened. And it was kind of the same thing. It's like I just told myself that even when I had losses that I was cutting well, they were just these little blips on the radar. But they were not these big cliffs. Well, then I started to go up and up and up. Confidence is coming back. And then sure enough, LYV happened. And then that's when it really messed with my head. And it just goes to show you how much this is an emotional game, more so than it is finding a profitable strategy and finding ways to make money within the market, because you need to be right emotionally to kind of handle these things. Again, if I was in LYV and I cut this like I just showed you guys, if I would have cut this where I was supposed to, even if it was like a $200 loss, that's acceptable. But I ended up losing $700 on this thing, right? A $200 loss, I would have still been up here, still would have been over my all-time highs from over here, and we would have still been moving up, right? So I realized that there was nothing wrong with the strategy. The strategy was making me money. Every time I was trading it correctly, this thing was making me money. It was the two trades that I messed up that messed with my head, and I let it mess with my head, and I let the trades get away from me. So I was like, well, why am I not still trading this strategy? Because of two trades that I messed up? Why not just fix what I did in those two trades and continue to trade that strategy? So that's what I'm doing. And to answer your question, to get back to it, I plan to up my share size once I feel like I'm 100% there, right? I want to make sure that every single time I see an opportunity, I'm hitting it without question, without any basis on P&L, share size, any of that stuff. I want to see an opportunity and I want to trade it the same exact way every single time, regardless of my share size, right? So if it took me coming down to the share size that I am at right now to get to that point, then so be it. I will stay here until I feel that I am 100% there, and then I will start to scale up. It's that simple. If that takes me 2 weeks, okay. If it takes me a month, okay. If it takes me 2 months, okay. Hopefully it doesn't take me 2 months, but it could. You don't know. You don't know, right? You also have to have the opportunities there. So that's, again, I can't give you an exact answer, but that's the plan moving forward. So do you strictly trade off the ISW scanners only? As Kevin said, yes, I do. I can't imagine trading without them. Like I said, I could prep 8 charts on my screen, all from like the gapper list and everything like that, and I almost never trade any of those stocks. It's always something that pops up on the scanner. ISW, can you add cryptocurrency on your scanner for crypto? Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen. Tom, you're good stuff. I only use plays off the scanner. Scanner is really smart about finding great opportunities. No reason to do anything else. It's so true. People always ask me certain questions about the scanners, and sometimes I'll even relay those questions to Brian. And Brian's like, I don't see any reason to add that to the scanners. I don't see any reason why you'd want to know this about the scan. Like, I don't see why you would want that to be part of the scanners, because the scanners, the way that they are, they work. And I might not be the best representation of that, but I mean, if you guys can see, they obviously work. Every one of these trades is off the scanners. I've never planned, not one of these since February 8th. I've never planned out a trade and taken that trade based off of something that wasn't the scanner. Every single one of these trades are off the scanner. The only two downfalls to this entire P&L chart, the big cliffs, were me. Not the scanner, not the strategy, nothing. It was just me having an emotional trade that I let get away from me, deer in headlights, whatever you want to call it. It was me. So even though I'm not the best example of, a great trader using the scanners, and, I obviously can't sell you on the scanners because, I'm only trading 2 shares on some stocks, whatever the case may be, this should also be proof that the scanners work, right? Again, if I would have played this properly, my P&L chart would look something like this, and it would, whatever, or it could have looked something like that. That's all I can say about that. That's all I got to say about that. Yeah, speaking of crypto, where's Circuit tonight? He's watching porn. Yeah, I don't know. I think he's been live streaming on Saturdays when he does. Knowing how to lose right is a bigger win than having a green trade, to be honest. Well, it's just like I said earlier. My cuts on OMI today made me more excited than my 8 winners from throughout the week, right? Knowing that I'm working towards not letting these happen again. That is way more important than the winners. The winners are going to come. The scanners work. The strategy works. We know that, right? What doesn't work? Me. I'm the one that's not working. I'm the one that causes these big cliffs, right? So that's what needs to be fixed, right? That is what needs to be fixed. So learning how to lose is 100% the most important thing. Brian, how long have you been trading, if you don't mind me asking? I'll let him answer that. Yeah, he even came out of the closet on live stream. That's how transparent he is. Get out of here, Zisha. Brian says, in total, 20-ish years. Strictly what I do now, 5 years. Vincenzo, transparent trading. I mean, I'm about, you guys tell me. You find me another channel that is doing what I'm doing. I still haven't found one. Keep in mind, Kevin and GDT, they're very open about their trading, and they show you everything, but they, on a daily basis, every single day, I'm literally showing you everything. Those guys are awesome. They're very transparent as well, but I'm talking like 100% transparent is what I am. And I'm pretty sure GDT is as close as you can get. That dude pretty much shows you everything. He doesn't deal with the naysayers. I say screw it. If you wanna naysay me, go for it. I don't really care. 21 watching, woo woo, give me some balls. I said 35. Got to get the 35. It's here. It's waiting. You're doing the right thing, Tim. Consistency first. You can scale up later with confidence. That's what I'm doing. For anyone that doesn't know, Brian is he's my guy. He's my mentor. It was fun being on the ISW site for the 2 weeks. Tim did a giveaway. Nice people, no trolls. Questions totally allowed. Newbies well tolerated. I told you, Brian does not let anyone in. We basically have to, if we say that we feel that someone is allowed to come in, and that's the other thing. I've had a giveaway before where I talked to the person who won, and we ended up not letting them come in because I like to vet people before I just kind of let them in there, because you never really know what's going on when it comes down to everybody's well-being. So the team is very well protected. We're very reserved. We don't just like let anybody in there. So you still got to be basically what I always say. If somebody's interested in joining Team ISW, getting into the chat rooms, I like to know that you're in it for the right reasons. I want to know that you're there to learn and be part of something that is just bigger than all of us, right? Be part of something that is growing into hopefully something that kind of I can't even say that because it's one of those things where I go back and forth with Brian all the time. I'm like, do we really want to grow that much? Like, we have such a good niche here. But at the same time, just being out there trying to help everybody at the same, it's one of those kind of catch-22s where I want to help you. So by doing that, I'm always going to show you the available tools to do that because, it's kind of what I do. I'd never join a group that would have me as a member. I'm riffraff. Vincenzo, you definitely are an oddball. That is for sure. But you would be very surprised, Vincenzo, that I have a feeling your personality would actually fit very well in the team, believe it or not. I feel like I'm just spewing at this point, and I should probably stop drinking this. I'm actually going to go put this in the fridge, save it for tomorrow. Vincenzo, you knew I couldn't go a live stream without you, bud. Like one of my favorite keto-friendly snacks. What are your profit-taking rules for your strategy? It's a good question. So right now, since I am actually accepting base hits, actually, let me pull that back over. It'll be easier to explain. So if we go to a trade where I took one entry, so ESTC, believe it or not, a lot of people don't look at it this way. But if we pull this chart up, the high here was 74. Let's see what the high was. 74.22. Our average was 73.17, right? Yeah. So 70, what did I say it was? 74. Come on, 74.22. Okay. So we'll just say it was a point, right? So we got basically 1R out of this, right? We were risking, we let this thing go against this 1 point and we made 1 point. That's kind of what we're going for. In most cases, we're looking to make what we're risking. We're never really looking to make less than what we're risking, although there's obviously always going to be that case. Excuse me. That pepperoni really got me. Wrong way. But like on BILI. So on this one, where we basically top ticked it. So again, we were risking like 30 cents here, and we ended up making almost 50 cents. So we made a little bit more than that. But basically on a single entry, I'm looking to just see how far down we can ride it because we basically top ticked it. But on something that's 2 entries, let me find like this one on LAKE. What I'm doing here is I'm taking the average of my shares, and then I'm taking high of day, and whatever the in cents that is basically 1R. That's what you're risking on the trade, right? Your average versus high of day. And then you look to get that at least, right? That's what you're looking to get. And it actually played out pretty perfect on this one to where it was right above the 1750 area. So that one actually worked out really well on LAKE. So at any given time, I'm looking to make what I'm risking. So that way I'm not risking 3, 4, 5x what I'm actually looking to make, which is what I was doing back in the day. So even though that was working, when I was taking losses, they were a little bit bigger than I wanted them to be. Oh, geez, you guys went crazy. Let me see. But yeah, that's kind of my answer for the taking profit. I'm always obviously trying to be more patient with my exits, but that's the main and I think, let me see what Brian just said here about scaling out. I always scale out, always. That makes most trades profitable. Hold some on the trades that are working, take profits quickly on the trades that are sketchy. And it's very true. And I even said this earlier, Brian, when you weren't here, but I do plan when I have bigger share size to start scaling out. It's just very hard when you are using smaller share size because of the commissions. The commissions will eat you alive if you are scaling in, scaling out, 2, 3, 4 times. Just doesn't really make sense. The theory would be exactly the same, but at the same time, it's kind of hard in the commissions which eat you. Like if you're starting with 10 shares and you scale out half and now you have 5 shares, and then you try to scale out again and now you have 3 shares, you see where I'm going with that. Whereas if it was 100 shares and then 50 shares and then 20, like that's different. But when you are looking to scale out with only 10 shares, it's kind of hard to do. What's up, Jack? Nice to see you, man. Haven't seen you in here in a while. I do everything manually based on price action. Or wait, did I miss a question? Oh yeah, ISW. Do you have to scale out manually, or is this some auto exiting order? I do everything manually based on price action. Once the main trade is over, I usually drop a trail. Jack, are you able to make enough day trading to make a living? I currently am not, but I think you might have been asking Brian that. And I think, what's he give you? He gives you an answer down a little bit further here. Most of the time, the profit taking is a prior support resistance level. Yep, that's exactly actually what I do. You guys hear me all the time, and you can even see it right here on this chart. I look for those extensions away from support resistance, and then that's usually where I look to take my profits. I make a nice living trading. ISW is the man. Seeing his trades every day makes us all look bad. It's so true. I was showing you some of his trades earlier, just from some of the charts that I kept, and it's disgusting. I make like 2 trades, and he'll be like, "How's everybody doing?" And I'll be like, "Oh, I'm 2 for 2." And I'm like on top of the world. And he's like, "Oh, okay. Well, I'm 9 for 9." And I'm like 1.7 quota or something. I'm just like, no, I'm not. I'm just kidding. I get super excited for everybody in the room. I think everybody just kills it in there, especially B. He makes us all look like amateurs. But again, he's 20 years experience, 5 years doing this. He knows how it works. He kills it. He's not afraid either. He's not afraid to trade. That's one of the biggest things I'm still learning. Got to hit the button. If you want to, you got to pay to play. Best job in the world. I mean, I'm not even making money, and I think it's the best job in the world. I love this stuff. Are you a proponent of VWAP? I can answer that for you. He doesn't use any indicators. He just literally has blank charts. Let me pull one up. I'll show it to you again. And this is just one chart, but I mean, there's literally no indicators. The only thing he has on there is the last price line. Are you going to make more interview videos with other traders anytime soon? Yes. Doing business with the Chinese. I'm actually working on one right now. Well, I'm talking to a guy about doing one. I don't want to give anything away though, because I don't even know if it's going to happen. I do plan to have Vic back on here at some point. He keeps telling me he wants to do it, and then he kind of flakes out on me a little bit. Yeah, I have VWAP up on my screens just because I like the idea of having just kind of a visual guide for extensions. So when a stock really starts to extend itself, VWAP is kind of just what I use to like see that extension. So like if a stock's coming up like this, and then as it comes back in for that little bit of a pullback, and then it starts to go again, like you can like really start to see that extension forming itself. And that's just kind of what I look for. It just helps me see the trade a little bit easier. That's all. You guys are getting there. We've been up to 25, I think. All we need is 35, and we will do the giveaway. Got one last little push here. I'm not going past 1 o'clock tonight, that's for sure. Yeah, there's Brian. I don't have other indicators on my charts, VWAP, EMA, etc. So no, I don't use VWAP. He doesn't use anything. He literally just has the candles. That's why, and the last price line. I think he does actually have like previous day close or something like that. I think he had mentioned he does have those on there. If you listen to podcast chat with traders about VWAP, it will help you, Vincenzo. I mean, it could. Everybody has different perspective on everything. I have listened to a lot of chat with traders though. Number 11, geez, that's an old one. I hear nothing but good things about you, ISW. Hope to join your secret society one day. DJ, I already talked to you about it. You just gotta follow up. That's all. But you already know the deal. I know why you're not able to get in there just yet. I'd feel naked without all my indicators. A bunch of lion indicators, though. They be all day. That's all they are. It's just like level 2. EMA, and what Brian will tell you, and it's the truth, is all indicators are the past. They're telling you what has already happened. What is telling you what's currently happening is the price action. It's the only thing that is currently happening is the price action. Level 2 is a game of liar's poker. All the EMAs, they're telling you what already happened, right? So price action is key. The 20 SMA is a little faster than the VWAP. I really find it helpful. Again, James, I'm not saying that it doesn't work. If it works for you, then that's awesome. There's thousands of ways to make money in the market. So that's the whole point of this. Find one that works for you and master it, right? Find that one little niche that fits your trading style and master it. I can't tell you, the reason I think that sharing my journey is so beneficial is I can show you how I'm trading, and if I'm profitable, it doesn't mean trade exactly like me. It means watch how I trade and implement it into your trading. So find out how your trade, when you see something happening and you're like, oh, this is how Tim trades, that you can take that and you can learn from it. So say your trade is to, like, say you're a breakout trader. I'm not saying you are, but say you're a breakout trader and you're looking for the break of this key level for this move. Well, guess what? When this move happens, now you can say, wow, this is a pretty extended move on a big, it's a big intense move. This is where Tim is looking to short this thing. So what does that do? It's telling you that it's probably a good place to exit, right? So you don't have to trade like me to make money, but by watching how other people make money, it can show you, like, it can give you insight to how to use your strategy to the best of its ability, if that makes sense. Thanks again, Tim. I've got the jam. Have a great weekend. Thanks, Mr. Gifford. You too. I appreciate you stopping by as always. You know where to find me if you have any questions throughout the weekend over on Discord. Tape is what's happening. Yeah, tape definitely. I mean, again, the more and more you trade, the more and more that you realize that the tape is the candles. The candles are the tape. You can see exactly what's going on time and sales on the chart. And the more and more I realize that, the more and more I just realized I didn't need the time and sales. And just like I keep VWAP on the chart as a visual indicator, that's what time and sales is to me. It's just a visual indicator of what's happening on the chart. Vincenzo, I'm down as long as I'm not the sacrifice. DJ, there may be human sacrifice. I had to go back up and read why. I didn't understand that. I must have missed a couple of these. Did you get any lag with CMEG recently? It seemed like every software was lagging because of the crazy markets. No, I actually, as all that was happening, I didn't have any lag whatsoever. Yeah, I skipped ahead to there. Okay. True, but a lot of people are making decisions based on them. Yeah, James, that's very true. That's because a lot of people, that's just how they're taught. But, I mean, every strategy that I know of that involves EMAs and whatnot, they're not very high win percentage. Can I ask a noob question, or will I embarrass myself with the group here? Dude, Mike, there's no embarrassing questions. Ask away, man. At least the goat, Vincenzo. And blood vials must be sent to VT, me, and Kev. I call Vita. I guess bread is okay. Yeah, man, you'll learn that there's no such thing as silly questions, man. I'll sacrifice a Beyond Burger. That's how GDT keeps his baby face, the blood of virgin. Oh my God. All the truth is in the chart. Nothing else matters. Brian says it all the time, and it's so true. It's the truth. When it boils down to it, the chart will tell you. I understand you need to build scanners based off your own strategy, but I'm confused on what to input into a scanner. Well, as you said, you need a strategy first. I think don't get Brian started on how to trade, because this is exactly what he'll tell you: buy low, sell high. Which it's true, or sell high, buy low. But good things to scan for. Most strategies: gap up, gap down, relative volume, short interest, shares, and flows. Yeah. I guess I'm confused what to input so I can scan for those trades. Is building the scanner equivalent to coding a trading system? Yeah, that's something you'd have to talk to B about. Not buy high, sell higher. I mean, that is a strat in the world of YouTube, apparently, in a lot of places. Technically, you used to do it too, GDT, when you were in your old strat. It was just the other way around. Sell low, buy lower. Yeah, buy high, hope higher. So true. Mike, what scan? I don't even know who you're using to build your scanners. So I guess that would be question number one. And if you're gonna say like Thinkorswim or any of those other brokers, I honestly just have no experience with them, so I wouldn't be able to help you. But if you want to, yeah, I figured it was TOS. Why don't you tell us what your strategy is? And then maybe we can tell you at least what you are trying to look for. I mean, maybe that could be how we can go about it. I won't be able to tell you how to actually build the scanner. That is just a lot of Google and YouTube probably. But I don't think that we can at least try to tell you like what to look for based off of what you think your strategy is. I'd laugh, ISW, but it's too close to home. Oh God, he coughed. Oh, I see what you're doing. Corona. Is that even part of it? I don't even know what the symptoms of it. I thought it was like fever. Well, fever was like the main one. All right, guys, you got 18 minutes to get 12 more people in here. You guys are losing people. Oh, there's another one, 17. Or wait, is my math wrong? Yeah, 12. Yeah, you need 12. I don't know why. Isn't that what I said? 12? Yeah. I think you'll be all right. There has been 2 cases reported in Maryland, but they were all up north. I'm a little bit more south. The monkey army's all asleep right now. I tried. Oh, you gotcha. He probably doesn't want that. I remember trying to help Mr. Monkey, and that dude is a lost cause. I hope the best for him, but that dude, yeah. Given the accounts I have, I can only really buy low, sell high, basing off of previous lows, then bounces, 1% stop loss, stop at 3% gain. I get the best thing that crap, did I just mess that? Okay, good. The best thing that I guess you could scan for is looking for stocks that, I mean, Brian's not wrong. The scanner, the ISW scanner does kind of do that. It finds the moves down at the low. And it's funny because if you're part of the team, you can go on the forums, and on the forums, there's actually a thread that is explaining pretty much your strategy to a T. 1% stop loss, 3% gain. It's actually kind of funny. But if you are trying to use a free scanner, like the crappy TOS ones, I guess you could just constantly search for stocks that are at low of day. I wouldn't really know of any other way to go about it. Trust me, Mike, if you're just getting into the game, there is definitely somebody out there that has already thought of what you're thinking. But you're on the right track. You're risking less than you're looking to gain. Now, the big question is, I have a question for you. If you're in a trade and it starts going your direction, like to favor you, you're making money. Say you get about 1.5% up on the trade and it starts to kind of stagnate and starts to go a little bit lower. What would you do, right? Obviously, you don't know what you do. You could say what you think you're going to do, but until you're actually in that situation, you don't know what you're going to do. But one of the hardest parts of like a 3-to-1 risk reward strategy is in the long run, you have to let that play out. You have to be profitable at 3-to-1 over the course of time, every single time for that strategy to work. If you constantly sell early at say 1.5%, but yet you're still risking 1% every single time, and your win percentage is say like 40%, you can see how that's going to affect it. But if you were winning 3-to-1 and your win percentage was 40%, you're killing it. But if you're only getting like 1.5, maybe 1-to-1, every once in a while 2-to-1, and you're not ever getting like that full 3-to-1 every single time, it's going to really affect the overall strategy. So always keep that in mind. And that's a very big emotional part of it too. Yep, everybody was excited for free commissions, and now all those brokers suck. Yep, everybody. I've heard so many complaints about Thinkorswim recently. It's not even funny. Like it's been horrible. Brian's right. It's a pay-to-play game. You will pay one way or the other, and it's so true. How many people have you seen, even the big gurus that were using Thinkorswim there for a little while, testing out the free commissions and stuff like that, where they're getting stuck in order? You know, they put an order out and it doesn't get filled for like another 30 seconds, sometimes up to a minute. Like, that's ridiculous. How can you put an order in and like wonder if it went through or not? And it just like disappears, or like it's a market order and it's just going up and down with the price. It's like, what's the point of a market order if it's not going to just mark it in? Like, that's some scary stuff. Yeah, free anything is usually very expensive. So true. And you can only tell somebody that so much until they go figure it out on their own. Brian does this to me all the time. I'll come up with some bright idea in my head, and Brian will try to be like, no, you're an idiot. And I'll be like, no, I'm telling you, this is going to work. And then he's just like, okay. And then I'll come back like, a month later and be like, you were right. And I'll be like, I'm going to do what you said. Not necessarily do it, like, obviously, but it's just more of like point being proven. I always use the analogy, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make the horse drink the water, right? So I know Brian does that to me a lot. I do it to some of the viewers a lot. Again, people ask me, why would you pay commissions over at CMEG when you could have zero commissions over at TD Ameritrade, E-Trade, whatever it is. And well, now you're starting to see why. And Brian literally always says nobody ever listens. It's literally, he always says that. Yeah, math dominates me. The chick down the street dominates. Vincenzo, you have no idea how much you would fit into the room. Just ask Brian and GDT. You would fit right in. Especially on Titty Bingo Tuesdays. I'm cracking myself up, sorry. Yep, I switched IB with DOS. Screw TDA TOS so bad. IB with DOS. You're in the world of the best, my friend. Wait, what? I'll listen when you change your colors. What does that mean? What colors? I don't know what colors you're talking about. DJ says, I'm a horse that won't drink. So true. Even when I'm thirsty. Hey man, I've led you to the water, man. All you got to do is just take a drink. I'm telling you. Thomas was in here earlier. David was in here earlier. They've all been in the room, man. GDT's in the room. Brian obviously runs the room. We're a small group, but I will tell you, Brian gets a little upset when people join the room. And then after a couple of months, they decide to continue to use the scanners, but they'll leave the room. But it just goes to show you that the room is doing its job in a sense, right? Everybody that comes into the room learns, right? You ask the silly questions, you ask the hard questions, you become a trader. You become a real trader. And I mean, that's all there is to it when it comes to ISW. It really is that simple. When you come in there, black and yellow, where do you see black and yellow? Yes, we are Ravens fans. Where do you see black and yellow? Would you sell a course when you become highly successful? You can mark this down. You can literally quote me. You can clip this, whatever. I will never sell a course. It is not something that I am looking. I want to grow into a trader that is making money from the market. I will never sell a course. I am not going to say that I won't, like, if it becomes overwhelming with the amount of people coming to me and stuff looking for help, it's going to get to a point where I might not be able to. I understand the logo is black and gold, but I can't do anything about that. What do you want me to do? You want me to change the ISW to purple? I mean, I will. That kind of sounds like fun. But yeah, I will never sell a course. But if it starts to get a little overwhelming as we grow, the idea of maybe just something really cheap to kind of weed out the freeloaders, like, even, I don't even know, like $1 just to be in a room or something. I don't know. I'm just putting that out there, that in the future, if it gets a little out of control, we might have to do something to kind of tone it down a little bit. But I will never sell a course. I just don't. That's not in me. Ravens versus 49ers Super Bowl. Yeah, that was kind of a crap ending to our year. Read my lips, no new taxes, maybe before your time. Yeah, I don't understand that one. Just keep digging that hole. What hole? What hole are you talking about? I can't do anything about it. That's the logo Brian gave us. I know the room is worth its weight in gold. Just applying for my student loan. Like an actual student loan? I thought you were done with school. Okay, all right, GDT, I'm going to backtrack. I want to solve this before I go to bed because I'm not going to be able to sleep. You always get me with these riddles. Doesn't listen anyway. Probably true. All right, so you said I'll listen when you change your colors. And I said, what colors? You said black and yellow, Tim. We are Ravens fans. Okay, what is black and yellow? The only thing I see that is black and yellow is the ISW logo. Is that what you're talking about? It is 1 o'clock in the morning, man. I am tired. And then you said, Tim is dumb. Oh my God. Well, that is true. Everybody already knows that. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Can somebody, he's not going to tell me. Can somebody please tell me? I do feel dumb at this point because apparently I can't figure out something that's fairly simple. I don't think I can't change it to purple while it's on here. Or I would. Is beer involved? Zishan says he sees it. Where? Is it something in the room? Are you just messing with me? I'm so confused. Oh, that reminds me, Jack. Thank you for saying that. I actually meant to Google what beers are best for keto. Because I've been craving a beer. Obviously, I need a low carb beer. I wonder what the lowest carb ones are. Ooh, there's some beers that only have 2 carbs. Corona Premier beer only has 2.6 grams of carbs in it. Yeah, I know, vodka. I'm more of a rum drinker, though. Carbs in rum. Oh, there's no carbs in rum. Sweet. Unfortunately, there's carbs in the pineapple juice that I would add to it, as well as the blue curacao. It says the man wearing the crooked labeled hat he waited a year for. That was pretty funny. Can I short stock VT right now? Is that a stock? I'm curious. It is. Let's see if GDT is a stock. It is not. So sorry, GDT, but at least I am a stock and you are not. And I'm worth $74. Let's see what my all-time high is. Ooh, I've been worth up in the 80s. Do we go any higher? I'm a very old stock. 2008. Cheat day. Yeah. Bud Light. Yeah, Michelob Ultra is actually not bad. I actually like Mich Ultras. 2.6. They're not bad. Oh, these are getting higher as we go down. Looks like a lot of the custom brews are craft beers, I guess I should say, are higher or lower carbs. Cheat daily. Nah, I can't. I'm in the midst of it. I need to get to that 3 month. How do we short Trading Monkey? I don't think you can short a stock that's kind of already that low. Just wait for your IPO. I'm waiting. I'm going to leave it. I'm just going to leave it on here. I'm going to wait for it. But you're at zero right now. Let's see. TM. Look, even Trading Monkey has a stock. Look, he's up at 130. IPO, Crooked Label Hat Company. The Bud Seltzers are pretty good. Low carb. Bud Seltzer. I've never heard. Oh, is that the new ones? Bud Seltzer. Yeah, it is new. What that was like one of the Super Bowl commercials, wasn't it? I think. Bud Seltzer carbs. So, yeah, it's only got 2 grams of carbs. Nice. I'll have to try this. But not as good as vodka. Is there a non-alcoholic drink water? They have really been trying to contact me lately, and now it's my time to blow them off. That's awesome. It's so funny that they basically just gave you the runaround for months and months and months, and then you make a video and they're like, oh my god, please, please. And they like rush you a hat and it's just crap. Yeah, somebody's coming out with a CBD infused beer. I did hear that. I don't know if it's Bud though. Let's Google it. CBD infused. It says seltzer. Beer. Apparently it says CBD infused beers offer hangover free alternative to alcohol. Say what? I don't see any of the major companies popping up under that type. But apparently it's already a thing. CBD equals 0 carbs. So true. My wife has been a little stressed lately, and I told her to look into CBD, and she was like, I've never done that before. And I was like, well, neither have I. We can try it. It could be a first for both of us. And it was a small eye of a giant head. Bacon vodka? What? Is that a thing? Is there really a bacon vodka? Please tell me it's not a thing. Oh my god, it's a thing. They even have a picture of a martini just for you, Brian. Brownies might be better. Ew, I'm assuming to the bacon vodka. I don't even know where to start with that. I wish Mr. Gifford was still here. He is always saying that bacon solves everything. Still waiting for my futures text alerts. Isn't for futures GDT? I've been watching you trade. Obviously, isn't it just pretty much at the open for futures? Like that's really like the only like real volatility like area. Or is there times later in the day where it actually like makes moves? Just curious. I don't obviously know. And I'm also still waiting to try to figure out this black and yellow thing. By the way, I still feel like an idiot. They have peanut butter whiskey? Yeah, I remember you drinking that on one of your streams. Screwball. Oh, there's plenty of times. Yeah, I don't really pay attention to them. Whiskey coffee? I don't like coffee. Yeah, he's talking about the Steelers colors. I get that. But what? Like, I mentioned the ISW logo, but he made it sound like that wasn't what it was. So that's why I was confused. I feel like I'm missing something. Maybe, you know what would be the best thing ever? Is if Kevin randomly came into my stream and donated $10 to me. That would be so funny. Kevin's a cheap bastard. GDT would never hate on the ISW logo, but I was talking directly to B. Wait, what? You know Kevin is probably like dead asleep, or he's rocking the ginger head. So that whole time you were talking to Brian, let me see. Now I need to scroll up a little bit. See, I missed when Brian said nobody ever listens, and then you responded, I'll listen when you change your colors. It all makes sense now. Have you tried Zambraka Bison Grass Vodka? It's pretty yummy. I don't know. Ask Brian. He's the vodka drinker. Now I also get why Zishan said he sees it. Okay. I got it. I am the dummy. I get it. What somebody shoot me their best trade today. I want to look at it before I get off. I'm just curious. It doesn't look like we're getting the 35 viewers this week, so we will push the giveaway to next week. It's going to be every week. I'll do the giveaway every week. It's just when we finally hit the giveaway, like right now it's 35 viewers at one time, I'm going to up it to 40. And then when we hit 40, I'm going to do the giveaway, and then we'll go to 45. And then we'll go to 50. And then I think from there, maybe, well, I don't know. We'll do 50 to 50. I don't know. We'll see how high. Maybe we'll do every 5 until we get to 100. And as we grow, I don't understand why Balls won't sponsor me. The heck, man. Everybody needs to tweet at Balls. It's like at Balls Guarana, I think it is. Let me see. At Balls. Yeah, here it is. Everybody go tweet them, guys. Tell them that I'm looking for them. Tell them that I say nice things and that I drink their drink on stream all the time. I'm even doing giveaways. Yeah. I have tried calling them, and they told me to send the email. I'm pretty sure I told you guys this last time, but I actually sent them an email before they had a section on their website for like influencers is what they're calling them. I went on there and said, hey, I drink Balls all the time. I would love for you to sponsor my content. And they don't sponsor via money. They just literally send you free balls. So I was going out of my way to try to get that to happen and then try to do giveaways. So, yeah. So Brian decided to send me his best chart from today. So let's take a look at it. Why is it not letting me? Oh, there we go. It's still not letting me save it as an image. I'll just make my own. So this was COLL, and I was actually mad at myself because we didn't trade this thing. I remember this thing popping up. So Brian, right from the scanners, right from the chat, this guy's a beast. Look at this thing. Gets in short, pretty much right at the top, near 24.50. First cover, 23.50. Second cover, all the way down near 22. And then a final cover down there under 21.77. That's just absolutely nuts. Nutty trade. And literally, guys, this isn't what every trade looks like, but the majority of them look pretty close to this. Most of the time, you'll see like first cover, then like second cover will be around like 23, and then that last cover will either be like sort of back up where the first cover was, or down lower as it continues. This was kind of a home run trade, but even he'll tell you that it wasn't because he only got a single entry, but it's still a pretty badass looking trade. Just make a video. I hear that works. I mean, what would I make the video of? Like, please sponsor me. I don't really know how that would work. I'd make like a cool little montage, but I suck at making videos. So I like when GDT does his stream live and loaded in the garage. I like listening to GDT when he goes to the bathroom on his stream. Everybody hears him go to the bathroom when he goes. Yeah, see, I don't even make videos. So how can I make a video for him if I don't even make videos? GDT literally gets drunk. He gets paid to get drunk on stream. It's hilarious. Who's Tim? You're a jerk. Mine is at Trade Volatile. I was so mad when I found out somebody had volatility trading already. I'm pretty sure the link should pop up through that. That's what you could do to support me, Brian. You can be my first Patreon. Be your subtle way. I wonder how much of the Patreon you get. I wonder if it's like YouTube where they just completely rip you off. I don't think it is though. The best way is the links down in the description through Streamlabs. They don't take anything. One boom equal one shot. Light it up, boys. Boom, 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 boom. I love showing off the boom, boom, boom that I made for Trading Monkey. Where's it at? Excuse me. I had the original ISW hat, by the way, if you all remember correctly. I don't have anything to take shots of. I'm not taking shots of rum right before bed. Oh, there it is. Oh, it cracks me up. My facial expressions are unreinventable. Is that a word? Whenever GDT streams again, we can drop the boom, boom, booms. They take 8% of the income. That's actually not that bad. $8 per 100. That's not as bad as YouTube. YouTube takes 50%. Show your dance video. So the Wired Day Trader made a video for every time that I win in a trade. One sec. Oh my God, I can't type right now. Oh wait, there was another hostile takeover. I missed that one. I didn't even see it pop up. So I guess Vincenzo thinks this looks like me.
Ladies and gentlemen, volatility trading celebrates another winning trade.
Great stuff. Great stuff. Yeah, it's still there. It says it was a month ago. I totally just meant to watch it real quick.
Ladies and gentlemen,
At least that guy makes videos. You guys are cool. Well, I think that was the idea there, Justin. Is that it looks like me, kind of.
celebrates another winning trade.
All right, let's see what this other hostile takeover is.
Look, Tim jumps up. Look at this. Top step trader jumps in. That's great. Look at that. Give him a second. Top step trader. The nerve of this guy. Jeez.
This one's pretty funny. What the heck is going on with the? Wonder if that. I think that's me. No.
Oh, I'm in here. While Achilles doing nothing, let me talk about my trade room in Transylvania. Wow.
And there was one more from good old Ross himself.
Look at Ross. While Tilly trading steps away, Ross tries to jump in. He's in his chair. Look at this. Look at him. Hey, Ross. Try to take over. Yeah, there, Ross. He's back. Oh, see? He's out of his chair. Look. Ross is slipping in. Look at that. He is everywhere, this guy. Oh.
And it's. Oh.
Look at Ross.
Why is it cut off?
Time to play breakout. No. Breakout. No. See my tree? Doing breakouts.
You have way too much fun with this. Oh, that's great. Good stuff. I know there's some other stuff on here too. I don't know if I want to play it though. Okay, I'm going to play one more because I remember this one.
Ladies and gentlemen, on tonight's The Wire Day Trader, an investigative report on the 4 new faces of day trading. What do they have in common? What can we learn? What makes them so successful? Hey, that's Ed Sheeran. That's the singer. Report on the three new faces of day trading. An investigative report entitled
Look, GDT, he's comparing you to
Revenge.
he's comparing you to Ross Cameron.
Horrifying experience when she first realized the complex was on fire. Well, I woke up to go get me a cold pop. Then I thought somebody was barbecuing.
Oh, you know, I'm gonna stop that because that might actually make this all get demonetized. Who knows if that thing is like copyrighted at this point? Oh, you can't hear that? Honestly, it wasn't that funny. Could you hear the other ones though? That would be a shame if you couldn't have heard. You couldn't hear any of those? Here, I'll put this in my.
Ladies and gentlemen, on tonight's The Wire Day Trader, an investigative report on the 4 new faces of day trading.
Can you hear that?
What do they have in common? What can we learn? What makes them so successful? Hey, that's Ed Sheeran. That's the singer. A report on the three new faces of day trading. An investigative report entitled Firecrotch, Revenge of the gingers.
Describes her horrifying experience when she first realized the complex was on fire. Well, I woke up to go get me a cold pop. Then I thought some.
I don't want to get demonetized for that. I have a feeling that you can. Could you hear the other one? I guess the other ones you didn't really need to see. GDT donates $1 to make me holla. I don't know why it didn't come through on Streamlabs. It should have. Should have. I swear Streamlabs is crap. Let me see if I reload it. I should not have to do this, but it seems like it makes me. I have to log out, log back in for like anything to go through. It's so stupid. I want to switch over to something else, but I just have everything set up. It'd just be such a pain in the arse to have to switch everything over. Yeah, see, there it is. I can't log out on here, but what I can do is this. There we go. It's so annoying that I have to do that. I don't know why it's so annoying like that, but whatever. GDT, thank you, man. You only got $9 more to go before I can officially not call you cheap. Went 1/10 the size. It's all good. I go 1/10 the size pretty much on all my positions right now, so I understand. Play the Ross one. Could you hear that one okay? Did that one sound better? I'll play it. I just don't want to play it with if it's like super low. Oops, wrong button. Yeah, exactly. I mean, I walked into that one. I was just waiting for you guys to say it. Jerks.
Look at Ross. Volatility trading steps away. Ross tries to jump in. He's in his chair. Look at this. Look at him. Look at Ross. Trying to take over. Yeah, there, Ross. He's back. Look, oh, see? He's out of his chair. Look. Ross is slipping in. Look at that. He is everywhere, this guy. Oh. Look at Ross. I gotta tell Volatility Trading about this.
Your laugh just makes it.
Time to play Breakout. Here we go.
That part is
Breakout.
hilarious.
No. See my tree? We're doing breakouts.
That's great. Oh man, I think it's getting to be that time. What do you guys think? Is there anything else to even talk about? I don't think so. I was hoping that we got like some random surge so I could give away 2 of my balls. So that since my wife has them anyway, at least I can give them to somebody that might appreciate them. I saw I got tagged in a tweet. Let's see. Let me thank somebody. Kimberly tweet. Oh, thanks, man. It totally pimps and pumps your product. Hells yeah, dude. I don't ever stop talking about it. I need to start like just tagging them in all my stuff. Like when I know that I put them in a video, I need to just tag them. Tim can't touch me. What do you mean I can't touch you? I mean, I can't touch you if I don't ever see you. Yeah, the breakout. That was so funny. All right, Kevin. I'll see you Monday morning, next Friday night. I don't know. I don't know if you get on in the mornings, but see you then. Tim, you should do this to GDT. Do what? What is he doing? What is he doing to me? Harassment? Is that what you're talking about? GDT is too politically correct for me. I think me and him have come to an understanding, though, that he knows that he is more politically correct than me. So he's better than me. I accept it. I'm not lost. I get it. Do a balls breakout segment to your channel. You know what I'll do? I'll start opening up my segments where I just take 2 balls and hold them up to my mouth, and I just start going like before I start every single video. Yeah, that is true. If you guys are going to the Trader Expo in New York next week, GDT will be there. Make sure you ask him for a crooked logo hat. He might have one available. Damn, I was hoping Kev would get on, but he apparently is a no-show. Kind of like the boom 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 that I did for Trading Monkey, but I can just have one of me just dousing myself with balls. Yeah, man. There was one Friday night live stream that I opened up with balls. I don't even remember. I think I said something along the lines of, there's no better feeling than starting the live stream by putting balls in your mouth. And then I took a swig, and it was pretty nice. I'm surprised Vincenzo didn't like clip that or something. I have to go back and find it. It's still out there. Balls, balls, balls. Yeah. Balls, 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 balls. Instead of boom, boom, boom. Vincenzo sees a weirdo. Yeah, Wired. Vincenzo is a weirdo. Wonder where you guys know each other? Maybe if you stop. This is kind of funny, Zishan. Now, I actually have a rebuttal to this, but Zishan says maybe if you stop joking about balls, then they will sponsor you, because sometimes they will look you up before they respond to you. There is no way, this is my rebuttal, that they made their company with the name Balls without having that in the back of their mind. There's no way. There's no possible way that when they named their company Balls, they were not thinking that that was going to be part of the overall company. Like it was going to be inevitable. Unless it's a foreign pronunciation, you could be right. Let's investigate. Holy crap, this guy has a ton of energy drinks. All right, so
hey everyone,
I would assume this guy knows how it's pronounced. So
Caffeine Man here, and today we're going over the highly caffeinated Balls Guarana soda. As for all the inappropriate jokes that come along with the name Balls, I don't have any. I mean, they're all just too easy, they're too predictable, and they just feel forced. They're really not that funny. But you guys, go ahead, feel free to make your own jokes throughout the video. That's perfectly fine. I know some of you are going to be out there saying, oh, Caffeine Man doesn't have the...
What'd I tell you? I'm just saying. Just saying. It's French for drink. Now I'm curious. Let's see. French to English. Balls. Translation. Let's say.
Balls.
That was English. Here's French.
Boule.
Bol. That's just Le bol. They probably thought of a drunk blonde females doing the exact same thing on a beach half naked during spring break. Exactly. All of those hot female blonde chicks are putting balls in their mouth. You can't tell me that wasn't what they were thinking when they chose that. Pepe Le Beau. Oh shit. when I meet up with you guys, I'm gonna bring balls, and when we go out, like when we all finally take this Vegas trip, I'm gonna have a case of balls, and then we're gonna be drinking the crap out of those before we go out. I'm not clipping it. It's your job to clip funny segments like this and put them out there. Remember when he said he wasn't going past 1? Dang, I honestly, when you said that, I thought I was gonna look down and see that it was 2, and I was gonna cry. Mission accomplished. You jerk faces. We're going balls out, dude. I would be like that guy said. There's so many like easy, predictable ones. I feel like I would be all over those. Like that, it would. That's just who I am. I'm predictable.
Ball.
Bowl. Let me try to put le in front of it. It's not letting me. There we go.
Le ball.
Let's do that. Just sit here and put stuff in French the whole time. It's not letting me type. Come on. It's only letting me type over here. Oh, there we go. Hold on. Let me do English to French. That's why.
Bousiller la gorge.
Okay, I need to stop. We going balls out, balls to the wall, go balls deep. That's what I'm saying. I would, if I was sponsored by them, I feel like the introduction to every single one of my videos would be something like that. And I mean, I basically already do that anyway. Do balls in Japanese. Let's say English to Japanese.
Yeah.
Fuck was that?
Yeah.
It's like it was like a person got hit in the balls.
Yeah.
Oh man! All right, let's see. Russian. Oh God!
Orit.
What the? It looked like it was gonna be like opit, like opit.
Orit.
It's orit, like, with a R. It's spelled OPET, but it's pronounced ORET.
Orit.
Orlit. So that one's not that funny. Let's I just have to click down here. Let's try Italian.
Urla.
Urla. Urla. So I can just do, I can just and click. Is that actually on here? No, it's not. Unless you're talking about, let's see. Oh, it's not even.
Balls.
How do they say it in English?
Balls.
I have it spelled BAWLS. I want to say balls like Ross. Balls. All right. That was actually Hindi. Let's see. Where is it? Let's just do Chinese traditional.
拽住.
Chai Chu.
拽住.
Chai Chu. Oh, this is great. What about Spanish? Oh, this is going to be good.
Gritos.
Sounds like Fritos, but it's Gritos. Glitos.
Gritos.
Kiddos. Oh, this is too good. uh, let's see. I'm looking for. Where is it? Oh, here it is.
مدشنة بيدي.
Yeah, that's too long. Aw. There, oh, you can't even. I guess that would make sense. The Spanish one's pretty good. Gritos. But yeah, I think the Chinese one wins. So this is Chinese traditional.
拽住
Chai too. Keep it up, you might start the balls bars. Wait, no. Brian, coronavirus. Oh fuck. Chinese simplified.
WL.
It literally said WL. That's what it comes up as. Let's see, Latin.
Tomacla.
Oh, Tumakala.
Tomacla.
There's some languages on here I've never even heard of before.
Sovi.
That's Czech. Sovi. That's kind of not fun. What about Finnish? No, Finnish is just balls as well. Swedish?
Skrålar.
Screweller? Is that what she's saying? Screweller? I didn't see Pig Latin on here. That was actually one I was looking for earlier. What is Zulu? Oh god. It just says Ama. Ama balls. I wish it would say that, but it doesn't. It literally says, well, I don't am I even on full screen? No. It says Ama. Ama balls, but it won't let me click it. Yeah, like these are all the ones that are on here. What the heck is Georgian? What the? I guess some of these they don't have like actual translations for it. Yoruba. Norwegian? Yeah, see a lot of these are they just say balls. Of course now everyone that I'm clicking on, it doesn't even have the voice. Icelandic? Oh, here we go. Scholar. Yeah, but I don't want to put in balls. I want to put it in this way. It makes it better. Mumble rap? Was that in? What? Are you just coming up with stuff now? Or did you see that? Yeah, you're coming up with stuff. Maori? Tangawa. Tangawa. I didn't try Croatian. Yeah, it's just balls too. I want to go back to hey B.
拽住
Chai too. Pootie Pie. I don't think if you could get Pootie Pie to sponsor balls, I'm sure they would go for that. Try Dutch. Skilloot.
Schreeuwt.
Skilloot. Skilloot.
Schreeuwt.
Skilloot. Like, I wonder if I type in balls, is it the same? Yeah, see, it's different. Ballin'.
Ballen.
Ballin'. It makes you wonder, like, what is it trying to... Like, what is this word in these languages? It's so funny. I already tried that one. What the heck is... Yeah. I think it's losing its luster now. That was pretty funny, though. I'm not going to lie. I'll try it. What's Bulgarian? Oh. See, a lot of them are like that. Catalina? The fucking Catalina wine mixer. Do Thai? Was that in here? It is. No, just balls. Here, I'll try it.
ลูก
Loo.
ลูก
Loo.
ลูก
Loo. German? I think I tried German, but it didn't change. It might be, let me see, I'm just curious. No, it did. Maybe I didn't try it.
Brut.
Brute.
Brut.
Brutal.
Brut.
Brute.
Brut.
I can't speak other languages.
Brut.
I can roll my tongue. Maybe. How do they do that?
Brut.
How do you roll your tongue on an R? B, b, br, b, brr, brr, brut, brut, brut. I probably sound like such an idiot. Brr, brr, brut, brut, brut. I mean, I guess that's how you have to sit there and learn languages.
Brut.
Brut. Brut. What does it mean?
Bella.
Bella. That's like a girl's name.
Bella.
Bella. Bella. Is like gelling. Oh, okay.
Bella.
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 Bella. I love balls. No, we have to stick to these balls.
Ich liebe Brüllen.
Ich liebe Brun. I want to see what the Chinese one is with this.
我喜欢吵架。我喜欢吵架。
我喜欢吵架。
我喜欢吵架。
我喜欢吵架。What are we doing right now? How did this turn into this? What was the other good one? German. Oh no, that's the one we just did. What? There was another one that was really good. What is Hawaiian? Oh, I can't even do it. Dang it. Was it Spanish? Yeah, the gritos.
Amo los gritos.
Amo los gritos. Amo los gritos. Amo los gritos. For Tessa, you guys are killing me. I'm trying to not use the actual word. I feel like that would kind of defeat the purpose. What the heck kind of voice is that? Was it Bulgarian? I'm trying to find... No, it wasn't. Was it... Oh, it was Japanese. That's what it was.
私は BA が大好き。
Now, how come it's using a different word? I mean, I guess because it's picking up at something else. Yeah, that was the one that was just BA. All right, I think I give up on this. That was a lot of fun, though. Not gonna lie, that was a little bit of a tangent that turned into some fun. Why is this downloading? So, any last questions, comments, concerns? Feel free to get them out. Let's talk about it. Let's get them out there into the world. And then we're going to get out of here. Hopefully you guys have a good weekend. Remember, over the weekend, if you guys weren't here at the beginning, be who you want to be, not what others want you to be. I have to remind myself of that constantly with the YouTube banter. The YouTube banter is always telling me, trade more size. Be a flashy YouTuber. Go buy Lamborghini. Nope. Not me. One day I will rent a very nice car because I've always wanted to drive an Aston Martin DB9. So one day I will, but I will not buy one. I have no desire to own some crazy fancy car. It's not the lifestyle I want to live. I'd rather take the $120,000+ and go on several vacations with my family. That's what I'm after. I want to experience the world with my 2 kids and my wife. That is what I am looking forward to. GDT needs to put his tiny crooked hat on eBay. You know, you should keep that thing, man. There'll never be another one like it. So I said you should frame it and put it up on your wall. Maybe the best live stream after all. I'm not gonna lie, this was pretty fun. Tell your friends. Tell your friends. If you tell your friends, maybe next week we can get to 35 and we'll give away some of them balls. GDT giveaway and a cruise pamphlet. I think Kevin has the cruise pamphlet, so he would have to get together with GDT and get that going. Armando has a real quick question. How do you set those arrows that show when you entered a trade and exited? It's a good question, if you like it. So right click on the chart, go to chart area, config area, and right over here where it says show trades, you would click that, and you can actually now change the size. Well, you could always change the size. It goes from 1 to 9. And now you can actually change the colors if you really want to. I did. I kind of got yelled at, and honestly, looking back, my charts were a little bit harder to see with the different colors. So to compensate, I actually went to darker candles, which this isn't my normal setup. So I actually changed. If I go to, if I go here, config, I actually changed these to be a little bit darker so that when those arrows pop up on the chart, they're a lot easier to see. Because sometimes I would get into a position and it would kind of blend into the candle, so you couldn't even see it. So that was why I did that. But yeah, just right click, chart area, config area, and then you just hit show trades. And if you want it to show orders as well, you just click that one. But the one to actually show the trades you made is this box right here, just show trades. And then if you want to change colors and all that good stuff, you can. Thanks for playing my stupid videos. Dude, those videos are priceless. You should keep making them. Like, go back in this, like if you want, I give you permission to go back in like this live stream and cut something from it, from that balls segment. That was just hilarious. Yep, no problem, Armando. You giving away a cruise trip? Yeah, we're giving away cruise trips, pamphlets. Double click the set price. I actually have that set, I think. That one is under configure. Yeah. So right click on the chart, first one, configure, right over here, double click the trade. It's not saved on this one. I have it saved on my main setup, but I use the setup just for the stream. So then when you click on a specific candle, it will do this. Let's see. So see right there, 665. Now if I click up on this one, let's see. It's like right there. It doesn't have to be like on the candle or anything. I'm pretty sure you can just click at a level. Oops. Yeah. So you just pick a level. So if you want to put an order in 695, just boom, boom, double click, and there you go. So then like if you wanted to put an order in, so like for instance, say I wanted to put an order up there at 710 to go short, double click 710. Obviously I'm going to change this stuff around just to be safe, but it'll go through since it's on the demo. Oops. That's going to make me hit enter. Wait, what? Security is not shortable. Yes, it is. It says it right there. All right, let's try buying instead. So click down here, 640. 639 is what I got. Click buy, and there you go. Puts the order in. And to get this over here, because normally it would just put one of the triangles there. Oh, that hurt my ears. Go to chart area, config area, and you can hit this enable order entry and order line movement, as well as, yeah, that's it. And that, I'm pretty sure that's it, right? I thought it said something different. Maybe they changed what it said. But I'm pretty sure that's it. You know what? Is it under... No, chart. Yeah, that's it. So this enable order entry and order line movement. Order, enable price placing alert on chat. Yeah, I mean, there's, if you just scroll through this, there's a bunch of different stuff in here. That is pretty cool. Corona Cruise Lines. There's a cruise just for celebrities. What? Didn't know that. There's actually cruises that are literally made for gambling. Like, you know how most cruises have the casino? Well, some people, like, they'll have like actual poker tournaments on cruise ships. So like, you literally go on a cruise for a week and just play poker all week. Like all week. That's all they do. It's crazy. Corona Cruise Lines. We never let you off the ship. Okay. I'm getting out of here, guys, because I do have to wake up and go to my nephew's birthday party tomorrow. It was a great night. I do appreciate it. Was not planning on staying here this long, but that just goes to show you the power of engagement. I love it. As long as we are having fun and engaging and growing as a community, that's all I care about. So appreciate y'all stopping by. Brian, thanks. Vincenzo, Zishan, Armando, all of you guys, GDT, Welton, DJ Daytrader, Mr. Gifford. If I missed you, I'm sorry. I will catch you in the next one. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you Monday morning. Peace out. Brought to you by Balls.